Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he.
Thursday and Friday. So I could get used to these weeks, Chris. 2 days on, a day off, 2 days off. It's a little weird having a Wednesday, but it's okay.
It's all right.
You don't love it?
No.
But the fact that, could you imagine if we had New Year's Eve and then a show the next morning?
I don't know anyone who would be listening.
On the 6 a.m. on
Yeah.
the 1st. You never know. But I am not are you a 9? I know you the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway. You're not a 9 p.m. New Year's Eve person, like a New York New Year's Eve?
I'm not really a New Year's Eve person to begin with.
But I mean, you probably make it to midnight anyway, right?
Depends. Well, here's the thing. Even if I were to go to sleep, in my neighborhood,
It sounds like,
a war zone.
Yeah.
So
you get New Year's Eve and 4th of July, right? Or like that. And maybe some other days.
Actually, I would say the big ones are New Year's, then Chinese New Year's is a big one.
Okay.
And then 4th of July is really beginning of June to like the middle of August.
Yeah, 4th of July has become really pretty bad in most areas as far as how many people do their own fireworks show. And it's like, I mean, to each their own. Never been my thing at all. I mean, I'm not I like fireworks. I like to watch them. Never been one to set them off myself, really. Every once in a while, but not, I mean, I can't even think of the last time I did.
The bad one was the COVID.
Yeah, everybody was just ready to
4th of July.
just to let loose. People had quiet time, bought fireworks, and just let it rip.
I want to say it was also a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, no joke, like 3:30 in the morning.
Just still going.
Still going.
Yeah. And we were one of the few people that actually, no matter when the time was, if you're saying early COVID to basically when there was kind of a strict lockdown to slowly easing people back to the office, like we were here the whole time.
Yeah.
We were kind of, you and I specifically, and a few other people. I guess most shows here, I say our station, AM 1140 Sacktown Sports. The other stations, a lot of people working from home. And so that was a really weird time. I mean, I think that's something now where, I don't know, 15 years from now, maybe 20, well, 15, because it'll be, 20 years removed or so, trying to explain that to someone that didn't live it. We lived it and just try like, wait, what happened?
And then they're going to say, and 5 years later, bird flu did the same thing?
Was that what's happening? Okay. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Monday to everyone. Are we not on YouTube yet, Chris?
Looks like we are.
Oh, maybe my screen.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have put it as the Drive Guys.
Oh. Because I am under the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Is that the right one? Sometimes there's a couple different.
No, I picked the wrong one.
Okay.
So you'll have to go on that one. And then I'm going to edit this.
I don't know what to do anymore. Let me go back. So which one are we under now? Oh, the Drive Guys. I see me. There I am. And there's Chris in the background. Hey, I think this happened when I was gone. What's the story with this? I think it's equivalent of a beam, but
Oh, I don't know what that is.
okay.
It just showed up one day.
It just showed up in here because the beam has been missing. We all know that.
Someone stole it and it's here.
And it's here. We've got the beam hostage here in this building. Let's hope we see the beam tonight. No promises on that. It's been a long time coming. We got a full show today. Normally on Mondays at 9, we would talk to Matt Barrows, talk to him over the weekend. We said, why don't we move that one to Tuesday? Just because the Niners play tonight, and kind of made a little more sense to wait one more day on that. So we will have him tomorrow. But today on the show, we will be talking to Sacktown Sports Kings insider Frankie Cardelli. And is there plenty to talk to Frankie about?
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
Yeah, so Frankie will join us at 8. We look forward to that. We will have our opportunity to discuss with you everything that happened since our show on Friday, which has been quite a bit. I spent most of the day Friday talking about the Kings situation. Plenty of you on the YouTube chat, on our text line, a few callers as well suggested something's got to change, something. And more than likely, it's the head coach.
Not that.
Yeah. And I was sitting here going, I wouldn't do it. My suggestion is you power through. Certainly Mike Brown has his flaws. The roster has its flaws. The team's in a bad way. The only way out is together. And shortly, maybe 2 to 3 hours after the end of the show, I know it was when Brendan was on, filling in for Alan Stiles, the Kings.
With Sean Cunningham on the phone.
Oh, it was live during then?
It was,
Or shortly thereafter?
Yeah,
it was. Sean was at practice.
Yeah, it was during that, and Brendan broke the news to Sean.
Wow. So we will discuss not only how the Kings did it, which was kind of gross, maybe why they did it, what their expectations are, the expectations of Doug Christie, and the Kings going forward. That throughout the show today. And certainly if you guys would like to chime in, we welcome everyone on our text line at 916-339-1140. Certainly on our YouTube page. We appreciate everybody that's always there. The regulars that are, whether you're working today or not, taking the time to spend your morning with us. That's greatly, greatly appreciated. Today on the show, there's a lot of football to recap from the NFL. More and more clarity now that we're man, can you believe we've done, 17 weeks. Where's the time gone?
Unbelievable.
It's one more week and then we're in the new year and then the playoffs. It's like, man, it's almost next season already. We will do that today. 4 Down Territory, recap our 3 in the Key. We'll have a 3 in the Key for tonight. We'll have a pick 6. We'll have our 3 for Madness, celebrity birthdays, and all sorts of things. But a lot of Kings. Oh, and a Kings Rewind today. We will recap in our own creative way the Kings and Lakers game from Saturday. Chris, you all done with that? I know sometimes it's a...
Funny enough, I got like the last one right when the music started.
Oh. So that is all put together. That's going to come your way at 7 o'clock. So we've got all that coming up. It has been starts and stops for probably all of you out there. So you said you're not a New Year's Eve type guy. No plans then coming up this New Year's? I'm trying to think back to last week, some of the things you told me. Oh, did you see, hang on. Don't tell me the movie. It's a weird Nosferatu. Yeah,
I did.
And
I really liked it.
Yes.
The only thing, and this is my pet peeve I have with movies that take place in a different country, is that it's taking place in Germany in the
So were there
1800s.
subtitles?
No,
Oh.
they're all speaking English with an English accent. So it's like, this takes me out a little bit, but it's very good.
What's the premise?
Nosferatu.
I know, but what's going on?
It's like Dracula.
Okay.
Very similar to Dracula.
I'm about 99% sure I won't see it.
No, you won't see it.
Yeah. I mean, just zero interest.
Like, would you see Dracula?
Not really.
Okay, so what way did you see this?
I just wouldn't. Just not my thing. It's not a comedy, is it?
I will say, my friend and I.
You laughed at something?
My friend and I, because there are funny parts of it. There are things that they say like, oh, that's funny.
Okay.
But we were the only ones laughing.
Exactly. Full House or no?
Full House, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Are the theaters bustling again?
It was packed.
Really?
We went on a Friday night, and it's
what, for that movie or just everything else in general? Or
for everything.
I don't even know what else is out right now. That's kind of
Mufasa.
big. Oh yeah. Okay.
And then I don't know. Oh, Wicked was still. People are still seeing that. Those are like the
I
big
have
ones.
heard people say good things about that. Also, not that interested in that, but better chance I'd see Wicked than Nosferatu. Better chance I'd see Mufasa than Nosferatu.
Do you know what the reviews are saying about Wicked?
What?
It's wicked smart.
Things are getting better. Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully things will be getting better for the Sacramento Kings. We will be discussing that really throughout the show today. So when we come back, we will have leading off the carnage that happened on Friday. What's next for the Kings? The Kings do play tonight again, beginning yet another homestand. All right. And the 49ers in action. We'll get into all those things and leading off next.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey Sacramento, it's Dearon Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, Downy in the rinse change.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Well, cut number 1 would be the equivalent of the news that happened Friday, the breaking news then. It's now a couple days old, and it's funny how quickly the news cycle goes. But the Kings elected to fire Mike Brown on Friday. Again, we are going to dive deep into this because we haven't had a chance on the air at least to discuss this. I told you on Friday, this is me. Again, look, I'm not running this team. I'm not the general manager. I'm not the owner. I'm not a decision maker. I would not have done it. I went through it on Friday talking about the history of the Kings, most of the history of the NBA of making in-season coaching moves mostly don't work. And it's not even a reflection of the previous coach nor the new coach. It's just, it's a players' league. Your roster kind of dictates, and it's not to minimize coaching either. In fairness to, if it's Doug Christie, which it is, to Jay Triano, to a brand new coach, you kind of have your players here. You have your system in. It's tough to change things on the fly. But this move, to me, was done in a realm to save the season, right? Like, coaching firings happen, and It's not, this isn't the first one, won't be the last in this organization. And coaching moves a lot of times when they're done with, let's say, 10 games to go. All right, you're fed up with the season. It's just not gone your way. You're likely out of contention. And you're going to just wipe the slate clean, maybe give another coach an opportunity, and just kind of start the process to what's next. But when you do it in December of a year that you have expectations, it isn't done to, hey, we're relieving Mike Brown. We're kind of punting on the season because it's just not going our way. Let's just see. Let's just get a look at Doug Christie. No, when you do it with this much time left, you're doing it with expectations that the season can turn around. And can it? Of course. Will it? History says no. History says no. I'm not going to give up. Players shouldn't give up. I'm just telling you what history suggests. And I didn't like the way the Kings did it by any way of the imagination, any way, shape, or form, to call Mike Brown on the phone. That was a terrible look. Obviously, we've seen just about every coach in the NBA come to Mike Brown's defense. That's not surprising. The coaching fraternity is going to protect their own. That was very predictable, but some of the things they said might have hurt because they probably were true of how this was handled, what people around the league think of Mike Brown. I'm personally a fan of Mike Brown. Also, multiple things can be true. I think he had some flaws. I think he made some mistakes. I'm not saying, this is the biggest injustice in the history of the world, but timing, expectations, and we'll get into this more a little bit later, but there seemed to be some doubt in the offseason on the extension. And I know people say, oh, you can't have a lame duck coach. Why? Why couldn't you have just said, Mike Brown, we like you. We like what you've done. We are going to have you in the final year of your contract. There are players that play in the final years of their contract. Prove it. Instead, you've extended, made it look worse when you remove. And again, I said this on Friday. If you, in fact, were thinking of making a move, don't let because you've extended him be the difference. You just have to pay for it. But that's just, all of it's a bad look. It shows uncertainty in what you were doing, uncertainty in what you're doing now, and where you're going. And all the goals that they have are probably still out there to be attained. It's just, you just make it more and more difficult. Players haven't looked very good in this. Front office hasn't looked very good in this. And us as a fan base that support this team, and when people are like, Kangs, here they go, Kangs again. I hate that, but here we go again, right? Here we go again. More on this in more detail throughout the show. Let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Well, cut number 2 kind of dovetails off that. It goes back to the game on Saturday. Doug Christie made his coaching debut Saturday night in Los Angeles. And this will be a challenge, I think, I'll say for me personally going forward. I couldn't be a bigger fan of Doug. I want the Kings to win every game anyway, but I honestly want Doug Christie to win Coach of the Year. Oh, that's all I want from him. I mean, I know how much this means to him. I know this is what he wants. I know he would love nothing better than to turn this around, have this organization win, and him be the coach here for a long, long time. If we're talking about wishes and dreams and hopes, that's what he wants. And he wants it so badly, not even for himself. He wants this for you guys, for the fan base, for his 2000s team, for the team that couldn't get it done back then. I mean, being here with him as a co-host in the afternoon, getting to know Doug closer, what it meant to him, to C-Web, to Vlade, to Bibby, that whole group that was so close that couldn't get it done, and his desire to teach and to coach and be great at it. I know what he wants. I know it. I don't know that he's going to be able to get it. I don't know. I'm rooting for it. It makes me nervous because, coaches get hired to get fired, and he's going to have an opportunity here. I love his approach, his mentality, his thinking, his philosophy. But you're as good as your players, and I think they've got some good players. I really do. But there are some roster flaws. There are some things that still need to be worked on. And then Doug's also new at this too. In fairness to him, he'll make his mistakes. Mike Brown is a veteran coach. He made his mistakes. So a new era, again, of Sacramento Kings basketball is here. I don't know how long this era will last. I'm rooting for a long and lengthy and prosperous one for Doug Christie. But I was rooting for that for Mike Brown and for Luke Walton and Alvin Gentry. Again, I'm not, even if there was a coach I didn't like, I was like, why would I root? I'm never going to root against this team. But sometimes they make it difficult. And I know I get it for Kings fans. If you're turned off and you're sour, that's how you fan. That's okay. That's 100% okay. If this doesn't faze you at all, good for you. I think that's difficult for a lot of people to just say, it's no big deal. Just move on. I don't know if it's that. A lot of things are always in between. There's the extreme each way. But Doug Christie will make his home coaching debut tonight. We also may see the debut of Devin Carter, who had quite an impressive Stockton Kings opener, but I'm not thinking he's saving the day. This group has to do it collectively. I think they're a better team than their record, but until you get out of that, but how much better? I mean, 6 games below 500 and a 6-game losing streak is absolutely gutting their season. They can come back. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of great play, and a lot of wins. And when you've got 13 right now with a tougher schedule ahead of you, they've made this really difficult on themselves. And we'll see again tonight. And really, like, to fully evaluate this next run, again, one game's not going to do it. Tonight's not going to do it. Had they beat the Lakers, it wasn't like, look, coaching change worked. They lost to the Lakers. It's like, hey, this isn't going to have any impact. You got to give it some time. But I just don't like the spot the Kings are in at all right now. All right, let's get to cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
Brock Purdy's going to his first Super Bowl. Just back up here, Brock. Take 1 or 2 steps back up, go down. It's over. The Niners are going to Vegas.
I thought we had a highlight on loop. That's back peak 49ers. A great comeback NFC Championship a year ago when they took out the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions a year ago, the same 2 teams when the schedule came out. I'm like, ooh, week 17, Monday Night Football. Niners, Lions. Will that be for the 1 seed in the NFC? No, at least not the Niners aren't holding up their end of the bargain. The Lions have to win. It's an important game for them. They've got a huge matchup next week in week 18 with the Vikings, speaking of the Lions. But yeah, Niners and Lions tonight. We got dueling local interests tonight. Kings and Mavericks, Lions and 49ers in an action-packed Monday night locally here. It's too bad that the Niners season completely unraveled because this game could have had a lot of meaning and a lot of fun to it. Instead, look, the 49ers, you're still trying to compete. You're still trying to save face. You're still trying to achieve some things at the end of the year, but another win, another 2 wins, and 2 more losses. No real impact on the overall season. This team has been eliminated for a few weeks. It's been injury-filled, poor performance-laden year for the 49ers. And the Lions are probably a team that maybe even Niner fans are rooting for. I don't know. This is a team that hasn't had a lot of regular season and more so postseason success. And it's going to be fresh blood in the NFC in the Super Bowl. And so we will be discussing that a little bit later today as well, as far as some things to watch for that game. We'll have a pick 6 and just kind of typical stuff for the 49ers and the Lions tonight for Monday Night Football. All right, when we come back, much more on the Sacramento Kings and the decision to release Mike Brown from his coaching duties. Here we go again, another coaching change in Sacramento. Why now? Also an audio recap of the Kings and Lakers games. And we will take your calls at 916-339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. If you have thoughts on this, all that straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Roseville Auto Mall.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Monday, getting out the door to some patchy areas of fog and expect to have a cooler start to the day. Into the afternoon, we should see a mix of sun and clouds with a light north breeze. Highs today will peak in the mid-50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's time to find your dream car at the Roseville Auto Mall. 17 award-winning dealers and the largest selection in Northern California. Now's the perfect time to save big during our end-of-year clearance sale at the Roseville Auto Mall. Driven to be the best.
The holiday driving season is here, and my good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an awesome holiday oil change special going on right now. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for up to 5 quarts of full synthetic motor oil with the online coupon. Go visit jiffylube.com right now, find a location near you, and get that $33 off full synthetic oil change coupon now. Most vehicles are covered, especially vehicles and diesel or extra. You got to show the coupon for discount. See the store for details. Happy holidays from Jiffy Lube.
A new Honda? Nice. Well, it was like this. It was a super hot day, so we all stopped for some ice cream. When bam, the AC went out. My dad started sweating and was all, man, I stink. And my brother was like, I hate this car. And my mom was all, I'm dying in here. Then I said, it's time to call Stockton Honda. Then Dad was like, honey, you're right. I knew you were my favorite. And just like that, Stockton Honda to the rescue.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings plus special financing. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler and Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the wrap-up the year sales events?
We're giving you a head start on next year with up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, starting as low as $36,325.
Wow, you guys are always looking forward.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under $20,000.
Now more than ever, Hoblet needs to be your first stop when you need a new or used car. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,000 total net savings on select new Ram 1500 models after $10,500 factory rebates and $5,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,500 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital qualify. $500 business upfit, business ownership, and $500 upfit required. And $2,000 Ford Conquest cash. Must own or lease a Ford. No trade-in required. 10th is net savings. $36,325 sample VIN 54489. 890. See dealer for details.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
Jason Ross, Chris Roulade in this morning till 10. Tomorrow as well, off Wednesday on the New Year's Day, and then back Thursday and Friday. Dave's back with us next week as the Kings in action tonight. And if you have some thoughts that you would like to share, again, this is kind of that free forum. Certainly a lot of people are chiming in on our YouTube and our text line, which we appreciate it. Phone lines as well at 916-339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. We say good morning to Ed calling in. Good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing this morning?
Doing all right. How about you?
Great. Hey, I just wanted your thoughts on Dearon Carter in the G League game the other night, putting up the 29 points and the three-pointers and the windmill dunk, and something to be excited about. And also our NorCal guy, Brock Bowers for the Raiders, getting the record, and I'll take your comments on that off the air. Thank you.
Okay, no problem, Ed. Well, two different things there. I'll start with the Brock Bowers. It was an amazing season for him, kind of one of the bright spots, silver linings that the Raiders have going into next season. That's pretty much it. I know they've done some winning here at the end, which some would argue was the worst thing they could do. But look, you're out there competing, guys. Guys would never try to lose, I don't think. And they're not trying to lose, and they won a couple here late that will impact their overall draft status. But a guy like Bowers, something you could build upon. As far as Dearon Carter, here's been my thought, and I've seen this more and more on social media, certainly on our feedback that we get here on our text line and our YouTube chat. Monty drafted another guard. Terrible idea. Don't draft another guard. The draft to me is always about picking the best player. So if Dearon Carter is the best player the Kings thought they had, it's irrelevant if it's another guard to me. They could draft a guard the next 10 drafts. Where you fill your roster and your needs is in trades and free agency. And an example I would say is, let's pick two great guards right now. If you had Luka and SGA was available, take him. Figure it out. If you had SGA and Luka and De'Aaron Fox was available, take him. You want more talent on your roster that you have assets that other people would want. So I'm not bothered by the Kings drafting another guard at all. Now, optics can bother people, sure. But the draft is about selecting the best talent you could possibly get, if you think that's what it is. Now, if you're weighing, if it's a tough choice between a guard and a big, you're like, I just don't know who's better, then maybe you lean towards need for the team. But you can address need in trades and in free agency. And obviously the Kings in this unbalanced roster haven't done a very good job with that. But Dearon Carter for this team, I don't know. I love what I saw. Certainly have more questions. It looked like in some of the footage that I saw that understandably looked a little winded. Hasn't played a lot of 5-on-5. But his stats were great. I watched a lot of his video in college when the Kings did draft him. What stood out to me then was his ability to make big shots, big plays, his range from three, and his rebounding. He's a really good rebounding guard. So those are some of the things that stood out to me. I know the Kings, the reason they drafted him was for some of those, and he's a pretty good two-way guard, defender, and scorer. But how will he be utilized? I'm assuming tonight he'll make his Kings debut. And in the end, in the final analysis of this over time, as he gets his legs under him and his run, his opportunity, I'm sure his minutes will be impacted by, or other minutes will be impacted in this, whether it's DeRozan, Herter, Fox, Monk, Ellis. And they got a lot of guys, guards, perimeter guys. So adding another one to the mix via the draft, I don't have an issue with it. But now that it's being plugged into the team where it's just a smaller team around everywhere around the roster. Who did they play the other day? Detroit. I think we were talking about they had 10 players, 6'6" or above. They just played the Lakers the other day, and just watching the game, and one of the subtleties of the game, I think, as it went along that changed during the game was Gabe Vincent started the game, played the first 6-7 minutes, left the game with an injury, didn't return. Then the Lakers just played bigger, and you're like, man, they are bigger player for player across the board than the Kings. And since then, they've even traded D'Angelo Russell, who's a decent-sized guard, for Dorian Finney-Smith. They got even bigger. So the Kings are probably getting smaller. Other teams are getting bigger. It's not always disastrous, but a lot of nights at the end, you're like, man, this team's kind of too small. And so that, to me, would be a front office issue. That's not a coaching issue. You could play bigger players, but if they're not your better players, I mean, the Kings have Orlando Robinson. They have Alex Len. Sabonis is a smaller center. Lyles plays 5. They're smaller when they do that. And then just kind of, DeRozan's smaller for his position, the way the Kings are utilizing him. Herter is one of the taller guys at 6'7", but it's a small team. But I am excited, Ed, about Carter. I'm excited about what I saw. He had a well-balanced game. I love that he hit his threes. This team is not shooting the three well. Rebounding, they've actually rebounded okay for the most part. There's always isolated games. Defensively, I hope he can help. But how much will he play? Whose minutes will it be at the expense of? Does he play? That's something, that we will see going forward. But whenever his time comes, we will see what kind of impact he has. And that's what I mean. Like, what will his minutes impact whom and how much will he play? And let's also, in fairness to Devin Carter, even if he scored 50 for Stockton, not to say that Stockton, that doesn't matter. That's not it. He's still a rookie. Still hasn't played an NBA game. You've got to give rookies their opportunity to make their mistakes. I've always felt when I had a chance to talk to Devin Carter when the Kings signed him, drafted him, and he came in for his first media session, is he's very mature. I mean, in being that his dad played in the NBA for a long time, was a coach here as an assistant with George Karl. He's just been around the game. So he's kind of mature beyond his years. Doesn't mean he won't make mistakes. It's just he's kind of always felt like he's NBA ready to me. And that's a good thing. That's a positive I take from that for sure. So something to watch in the games going forward when he's officially given the clearance to play for the Kings and what kind of impact he will have. But just kind of wanted to reiterate that because I saw that from a lot of people. Like, Monty drafted another guard, kind of slamming him for that. I'm not going to slam Monty for that at all. Not that part. Now, the other part of fulfilling the roster with some of the holes that I believe are still there and the size issues, that's not generally addressed in the draft. I mean, again, let's just say they drafted Zach Edey. Okay. They drafted a bigger guy. There's still some issues with the roster as far as overall size. Now, they didn't have a chance to draft Zach Edey. He was off the list. But Carter was there. They felt he was the best player available. Take him. No issue with that. None. Now, you could trade Carter. You could trade one of your guards. I still believe, based on what we've seen so far from this team, that you made that move, like I said earlier, to fire Mike Brown and replace him with Doug Christie at this point of the season, thinking you could still save your season. So if that's kind of the overall premise, I think it's now clearer than ever to the front office that they're also going to have to make some moves. You don't do it out of desperation, but you got to do it in a way that makes sense, that works, that helps you get to that goal of trying to turn the season around. And feel there's a little bit more pressure on everybody. I'm not mad at that. They've dug this hole themselves. There should always be professional pressure on people. It's not an easy business. You get in this for a reason. You obviously get in it for the joy, the fun. It's a great job. You want to make a difference. You want to be coach of the year. You want to be GM of the year. You want to win championships. That's the fun part. But how you get there, how you build it, how you construct your organization. And I think the Kings were going down a nice professional way for a while. And this kind of feels like a slip up again that they were doing before. And we'll see where they go from here for sure. All right, when we come back on the game on Saturday, I don't know if you heard it on our pregame show, but I wanted you guys to hear it again. The G-Man, every pregame show, gets a chance to talk to an assistant coach. Well, with all the changes being made, Gary Gerald had a chance to talk with Doug Christie on Saturday. It was a really good conversation. And basically kind of the thoughts of what Doug's been going through, what the team's been going through, what he plans to do going forward. I want you guys to hear this interview. It's a playback from the pregame show in LA. We'll let you hear that, and we'll react to it when we come back here on Sacktown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
California, it's the Ford Year-End Sell-a-thon. 14 days of the biggest savings on an incredible selection. So visit your California Ford dealer now through January 2nd and get great offers across the lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the built Ford Tough F-150 truck, part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 47 years and counting. Or the adventure-ready Ford Bronco Sport with GOAT modes to help you conquer the great outdoors. And check out the always electrifying Ford Mustang Mach-E with 0 to 60 thrills and 0 emissions. It's the Ford Year-End Sell-a-thon, and it's your chance to save. Whether it's gas, hybrid, or all-electric, now is the best time to get behind the wheel of your brand new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. But hurry, these offers absolutely end January 2nd. So go to your California Ford dealer today. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
California's largest Sportsman's Expo is back, January 16th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Get discount coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, show map, exhibitor listing, and seminar schedules. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 16th through 19th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Why choose Gonzalez Law Offices? Well, for criminal defense, expungements, sexual harassment, wrongful termination. The best thing you can do is to retain legal representation from an experienced defense attorney in Sacramento who helps you obtain the best possible results. At Gonzalez Law Offices, attorney Jonathan Gonzalez has remained undefeated from 2016 through 2019 for jury trials, and this year will be no exception. Contact him at 916-304-9187 or at saclegaldefense.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
Back here on the show, Jason Ross, Christopher Laud. Chris, it's National Bacon Day. Yay or nay on bacon?
I think I celebrated early.
Yeah, I did too. I had bacon yesterday. I need bacon. I like bacon. How do you make your bacon?
Frying pan.
Oh, you do it in the frying pan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do oven.
That's what I hear is the best one, but
I don't know. I just always have done it. I've done it in the frying pan. Do you use that grease for anything else after, or just
usually put eggs
into?
Like
Yeah,
do the bacon and then put the eggs in after.
Do the eggs taste bacony or no? Not
Yeah,
really.
a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, that's a bad thing. Bacon's pretty darn good. Yeah, had some bacon yesterday. Bacon and eggs and some tots. Just a few tots. It's made just a little.
What are you, a child?
Yeah. Always have been. Always. Yeah, I'm eating a candy bar this morning that you gave me.
What?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I like Kit Kats. I like white chocolate.
Yeah. Didn't love it?
Didn't love it. It's
Okay.
all right.
I'll have yours. Coming up at 7, we will have our rewind, a look back at the Kings and Lakers game in Los Angeles. Oh, joy. They got swept by the Lakers. Remember when they swept them a year ago? Every year's different. Every game's different. Every week, every season. It's just, man. Yeah. 0-4 against the Lakers. That's a killer. I know. And Doug was very adamant in his post-game what he said about that. He's like, look, I hate losing to these guys for obvious reasons. He just hates losing in general. This whole thing isn't fun. And we're going to go into more detail about kind of the mess the Kings have made. But it's happened. It's the reality. It's done. We will pick apart. I think they didn't handle this very well in a lot of ways, in most ways. But Doug Christie is the coach. The way he found out was a little bit surprising too. All of that. But I thought it would be important for everybody to hear this. I was really impressed by this conversation. Look, we're still dealing with people here and how they're all handling it, and it's not easy. This was from Saturday's pregame show right here on Sacktown Sports the other day. The G-Man in the coach's corner with now interim head coach Doug Christie.
Well, transition has come to the Kings organization once again, and it's a pleasure to sit with now interim head coach Doug Christie, who's been a longtime friend. And I know you talk about how quickly things come at you in the NBA. So what's it been like over the last 24 plus hours?
It's been a blur, man, to be honest with you. You never, as you've been around this league a long time, and you never it's almost like somebody really good like Dearon Fox coming downhill at you and you're backpedaling because you're trying to do different things. But I have from Shannon to everybody, the support staff has been fantastic, just trying to help me out as much as possible. But it's been a blur.
How difficult is it, Doug, to not be overwhelmed?
Yeah, it is difficult, but at the same time, what kind of brings me back and keeps me balanced is, Coach Carroll used to tell me it's basketball, Doug. Let's not forget that we're playing basketball. Is it a high leverage, high intensity, all those things? Yes, it is, but never forget that it is just basketball. And his words always kind of bring me back to ground. Will all of that overwhelm me sometimes still? Yeah, it probably will, dealing with press and a lot of different things and being pulled 90 different directions. But at the center and the core, it's about those 15 guys in the locker room, and it's about basketball. And I try to keep the main thing.
What is your message to those 15 guys?
I mean, to say it in one word is compete. Like, compete at a really high level. We in that room, we have enough. There's enough talent in that room to win ball games. We got to come out and we have to compete and deliver a product that Sacramento Kings fans, organization are extremely proud of. That's really what it comes down to. Everything else takes care of itself, G-Man, because it is basketball. And that's what we have to do as a unit. Are there other things? Yeah, but that I would say is the basis of what I like to see.
Basketball is a game that's supposed to be joyful.
Yes.
And I know that you've touched on that and you've talked about that with your troops. How important is that, finding joy, enjoying what you do as your livelihood or your profession?
It's big time. I think from the standpoint, G-Man, that's the thing that got us all here from being kids. Like, you wanted to go to the park, you wanted to go to the rec center, then you wanted to play in middle school, then you wanted to play in high school, then you wanted to play in college. Then, those are the happiness that brings you to the gym, that wants you to laugh and all those things with your teammates and all those. I want to see that. I want the fans to see that in these guys, and I want their game to demonstrate that. We've seen it, just not at the consistent level that we would like to see it.
This is the third time against the Lakers in 10 days.
Oh, boy.
Tweaks tonight, or is it more about just you and your guys and what they bring to the floor in terms of concentration, focus, etc.?
I think for me, G-Man, and this is something that I probably got from Rick Adelman, is it's always going to be that. It's, a lot of guys are adjustments. They're doing this, we're doing. And Rick in many ways would say, let them figure out how to adjust to us. Do what we do. Now, does that mean that it's always that way? Nah, it's not. But that would be my main thing. We have talent. You have to adjust to our talent too. If we play our style of basketball, if we are up and down the court and transition the way that I like to see us, if we are playing fast in the half court, if we are flying around on defense, I will put us up against anyone.
I know that this has been a goal for you for quite some time, and you've touched a lot of different bases in your career as a player, as a broadcaster, as an assistant coach. What does it feel like now to be in that hot seat?
Hot. It's not like a whole lot different. I think that the responsibilities, I'm responsible for those guys. I'm responsible for representing the organization. That is where I think a lot of that comes in, because I don't want to let them down. And that's where I grind and I'll do whatever I need to do for them, for our city, for our team, to put the best product on the floor.
Appreciate you and your time. Thank you.
Love you, brother.
All right. I thought that was some interesting information there from what Doug's going through, what this team is going through. It's kind of been a whirlwind, obviously, for everybody. And for that matter, as I said earlier, mishandled by the Kings, the way the front office, the way this was handled. It's trying for everybody. We will get into that in a little more detail coming up in the next hour. In the next hour, we will have our Jiffy Lube drive of the game from Saturday night's game, if you can identify that. We will talk about Kings beginning life with Mike Brown, 3 for Madness. But when we start the next hour, Kings Rewind, how it went down with the Kings and Lakers Saturday night in Los Angeles. We've got that for you next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Well, I've been telling you for a while how important branding is. It really is an important entity for businesses, and that's exactly why I've been telling you about the red ribbon logo from the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. It's synonymous with them, and others have tried to compare to them, but they are the ones that are truly at top of their game. And if you are looking for a fresh look to your home with new garage doors or a quick repair to your existing doors, Overhead Door Company of Sacramento is where you need to go. So ask yourself this question. How does your home look? You happy with it? One way your home can get a significant boost is with brand new doors from the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. Replacing your old garage door or doors for a new garage door is the greatest return of investment homeowners can make when doing your home improvements. But when you work with Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you're also connected with this family-owned and operated company that's been thriving in our area for over 70 years. They're just amazing people and people you just want to work with. They're great at what they do, but they're really good for this community as well. And here's the deal for you as well. Mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports, and you'll receive $100 off your new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Make your house pop, make it feel good, make you feel good about your new garage door. But they do more than residential. They do commercial as well, or even repairs to your existing doors. You can check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Data Bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Roseville Auto Mall.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Monday. Getting out the door to some patchy areas of fog and expect to have a cooler start to the day. Into the afternoon, we should see a mix of sun and clouds with a light north breeze. Highs today will peak in the mid-50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's time to find your dream car at the Roseville Auto Mall. 17 award-winning dealers and the largest selection in Northern California. Now's the perfect time to save big during our end-of-year clearance sale at the Roseville Auto Mall. Driven to be the best.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, you got to tell me what's going on for the Wrap Up the Year sales events.
Wrap up our biggest savings of the year with up to $17,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram heavy duties. Plus, with over 400 new Rams available, including the hard-to-find heavy duties, your perfect truck is waiting at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
That's a huge selection of Rams, and that's why Hoblet's the top Ram dealer in California, Chad.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under 20,000.
Start selecting save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
17,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 tradesmans after 10,500 factory rebates and 6,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 3,000 Hoblet inventory coupons while supplies last, 2,000 trade-in assistance on qualifying trades, 500 upfit, 2,000 California commercial business bonus cash, business ownership, and 500 upfit required. 5% net savings. Sample VIN 357313. See dealer for details.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2024 slip away without savoring the memories made with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Looking forward is always exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, revolving around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson with his first bite of birthday cake was priceless and reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings during their annual New Year's sale going on now, including all the fine furniture and accessories in every department. How about a new style for the new year? Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with future memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will stay with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings. Off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
That's right, Jason Ross, Christopher Lott here on this Monday. Again, to recap, we have Monday, Tuesday shows this week off on the 1st. We're taking the first day of the year off already, just slackers. And then we're back Thursday and Friday. Dave's back with us next week. Plenty of discussion for us. A lot of you on the YouTube chat and on our text line. Spirited conversations. You guys are all over the place, by the way. That's fine.
And I will say, one of you is 100% completely right.
Yeah,
I won't tell you which one.
Yep. And you know who you are, too.
The rest of you are way off.
Yeah, but you know who you are. You do. What's great is that they all think, see, it's me. It's me.
It's definitely not you.
No, it's not you. If you think it's you, it's not you, but it's the other person that's right. Yeah. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. 1 hour from now, we will talk with Sacktown Sports Kings insider Frankie Cardelli, as we look forward to talking to Frankie at 8 o'clock. So that's there it is.
That's what we do.
So we look forward to talking to Frankie an hour from now, but we can talk to you guys in between now and then. But it is 7 o'clock after a game, after yet another loss.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, well, I think people by now know that they lost, but maybe you didn't get a chance. It was, it's weird. We're during the holiday season. Maybe you still had family over. You didn't maybe you didn't want to watch the game. You closed your eyes. You didn't want to pay attention. You didn't listen to the game, whatever it may be. Well, we're going to catch you up as to what exactly happened with our version of a recap. It is called Kings Rewind. All right, on Kings Rewind, we could take you to some strange places. But Oh, the places we will go. Since we last left you, the Kings had their most confounding loss in years as they gave up an inexplicable 4-point play to lose and extend their losing streak to 5.
Why would you bring that? Why would you bring that up?
Already off to a great start.
The very next day, the Sacramento Kings elected to fire former Coach of the Year Mike Brown after almost 2.5 seasons.
What? You son of a bitch.
Is that thing cutting off or no? It's just sounding weird.
No, it's fine.
Okay. The Kings went from turning on the freaking Jets to coach after coach after coach after coach after coach.
But y'all don't say that.
No longer will it be what can Brown do for you as we now enter former Sacramento Kings Doug Christie as the interim head coach.
I know that, dude.
DC got his chance to work the sidelines a few years ago in a 5-game Alvin Gentry COVID stretch.
I could be a Clorox wine.
This time, though, it's for real, and his debut in Los Angeles against a Laker team that he has had history with, and this year's team has had no success against.
Zero.
The Lakers would also play without the NBA's all-time leading scorer as LeBron James was ill.
Geez, I can't come to work today. I think I got strep throat.
Domantas Sabonis was recovering from his sickness, but never looked quite right the entire game.
I wish it were me. I wish I could just absorb your germs and make my body fight them.
Domas, in fact, would play with foul trouble most of the game.
He can't hit.
The Kings were trying to avoid a 4-0 sweep at the hands of the Lakers and trying to snap a season-high 5-game losing streak.
I am begging you from my soul.
The Kings defense left a lot to be desired as they gave up a 40-point first quarter.
Gross.
Thanks to a strong shooting half and a season-best 24 first-half assists, the Kings actually had a 1-point lead at the Crypt. The third quarter completely unraveled on the Kings as the Lakers lit them up for a 42-point quarter, shooting 15 of 20, 3 of 4 from 3, and made all 9 of their free throws.
Oh, good for you.
In the fourth quarter, the Kings tried to mount another double-digit comeback.
You can do it.
Along the way, De'Aaron Fox picked up his 4th steal of the game and became the Sacramento-era all-time leader in steals, surpassing Kings interim head coach Doug Christie.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
I think Doug should dress up tonight and get that steal back. By the way, while the Kings were cutting the deficit, they would make it more difficult as Domantas Sabonis picked up his 6th and final foul.
Oh, well, pardon me, Mr. Perfect. I guess I forgot that you never ever make a mistake.
The Kings got as close as 6, but the Lakers would close it out and get the 4-0 sweep of the Kings.
I hate it here.
Sacramento lost their 6th game in a row and their longest streak since 2022.
Identify the problem, fix it. Identify another problem, fix it. Repeat as necessary until it's all fixed.
The Kings now fall to 6 games below 500, and they host the defending Western Conference champion Dallas Mavericks tonight at G1C.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Well, maybe a few buts.
Big ones.
And there you go. There is our look back with my recap and Chris's brain dump of Rewind. Boy, does Rewind need a victory, huh?
Hi, Pappy.
Don't know if it'll happen tonight. It might. It might not.
Maybe.
I know someone asked me the other day, a couple people, like, what do you think tonight? Kings Lakers. I'm like, I think it was Kings Lakers, and I did the same bit, the Kings Pistons. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They're good enough to beat these teams at times when they're right. they're obviously bad enough to lose to the teams. They've done that plenty, and they're in a funk. And I think, and we're going to get into the coaching move a little bit more coming up at 7:30. But I think, sometimes that provides an immediate spark. Look, when you've lost 6 in a row, I don't really think there are many silver linings at all. I thought there was maybe, in some senses, a little more pep to their step offensively in LA. I think the pace was okay. Their assists were great. Points in the paint were good. But then you get back to, some of the roster flaws and some of the issues. I mean, defensively, 2 40-point quarters. And I know that's going to eat Doug up and the coaching staff and the players. It should. But, the Lakers have owned them this year. And that's the reality. I think the 2 games they played here I guess it was a week ago, the back-to-back they had with the Lakers, 2 and 3 days. The first one was just awful, just an awful game. Second game was a little bit better. I thought they played better against the Lakers this time, but what does that matter unless you win? I mean, right now, I don't even know if they have to play, but they just have to win. They have to get out of it, even if it's for one game, just to stop the bleeding, to get a little morale boost, to know that it can happen. And, I basically read every possible article, reactionary piece to the Kings' moves. And especially some of the stuff by The Athletic, Sam, Anthony Slater, a few others that have been doing stuff there, talked about kind of the confusion of this year's team. Because, I think in Mike Brown's tenure, he was really, really, really trying to make this a better defensive team. I think he knew deep down in his gut that for them to have a postseason run, they had to be a better defensive team. The year they made the playoffs, they kind of did it with this, at that time, historically great offense, which that's already been surpassed kind of easily. But that year, they were so good offensively. They weren't great defensively, but they could win a lot of games because they just would score and score at a pace that people just couldn't handle that pace. Last year, the offense decreased. The defense got a little bit better. And this year, that's the thing I've been reading. Like, some of the metrics don't make in a lot of sense for their record, but your record is your overall performance. So it doesn't matter if the Kings, and they wouldn't be number 1 offense, number 1 defense, and they're not that good, but they're a top 10 offense and a top 17 defense. And to be struggling this much doesn't always add up, but the close losses are a factor. Obviously when you make critical mistakes like they did against Detroit, a 4-point play to lose, I mean, they are creating this monster that they have here. And so I said it the other day before they made the Mike Brown move that the only way out right now, unless you make a trade, but even until then, even if you do make a trade, I mean, they're not trading the entirety of the roster. They could make a significant trade, though, or even something around the edges, is with the players that play the majority of the minutes. And that's, generally your top 8, top 9 players. They're the ones that are going to have to be better. They're the ones that have dug this hole. They're the ones that are going to have to try to dig out of it. Coaching staff included, front office included, ownership, everybody. They're all involved in this together. They're all culpable, and they've all got to fix it themselves. We've got, again, a lot more on that. My criticisms of the handling of this, I'm going to explain at 7:30. But when we come back, 3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness time. That is straight ahead.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Out with the old year, in with the new ride at Toyotathon. Going on now. Get a low-cost lease on the 57 MPG Prius, or choose from great deals on 16 other Toyota hybrid cars, trucks, and SUVs, all featuring Toyota's legendary reliability, style, and fuel efficiency. Don't miss out on your chance to celebrate. The final days of Toyotathon are on now at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, Let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Ends 1/6/25.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, Frankie Cardelli joining us at 8. We still have our Jiffy Lube Drive of the Game coming up later this hour at 7:45. We'll give you the cue to call then. And we're going to talk about Kings beginning life without Mike Brown in our next segment and the whole handling of that situation. When we begin our next segment. But right now, it's that time. 3 for Madness time. 3 questions, 3 answers. Chris, question number 1.
We had 2 NBA fights over the weekend. Is this a sign of things to come or just a blip?
Yeah, we had the Suns and the Mavs on Friday night. And that Suns-Mavs altercation is going to cost Najee Marshall an appearance tonight. He was actually a Kings killer last year when he was a member of the Pelicans. He was a guy I liked for the Kings in free agency, but Dallas signed him. So he's out tonight along with Luka and Luka's injury related, not because of the fight. And then last night we had Houston and Miami. Did you see that one?
I did.
That one kind of made me laugh in a sense. I know Tyler Hero got thrown around like a rag doll. I know he was a little bit off balance, but he still got thrown down. And then he kind of, I don't know. I mean, everybody's always going to analyze fights. He got thrown down. Everybody's in between him and Thompson, and the scuffle's already kind of done. And then it felt like he was kind of tough talking to me. I'm like, okay. I think Thompson wants to fight you. I don't think you want to fight him, and that's okay. You're not going to win every fight you're ever in. But it feels like a blip. But it's weird that we've had 2 in 3 days. We haven't had a lot of NBA fights. They really have done. That was really a David Stern thing to discourage fighting in the 80s and 90s. We actually had quite a bit of fighting. I mean, the amount of fighting, on TNT, if you ever watched, the amount of fights that Charles Barkley, Shaq, Larry Bird, Dr. J, there were a lot of people that fought back then in games. And now it's, you take one step off of the bench as a sub, you get a game suspension. It's not even worth it.
Even playoffs.
Yeah. And now, to say it's a fight, it's an altercation. It's a little scrum. I mean, a lot of times you get guys that'll chest to chest and, okay, nothing's going to happen here. But I feel like it's a blip. The league doesn't really want fights out there. I don't think it's best for the league. Now, it can get people talking, but yeah, and then there's just some people that, portray to be tough that I don't know how tough they are. And then there's other people that you just don't want to get in a fight with at all. And I think, the good thing is for Tyler Hero got thrown around a little bit. His teammates jumped in the way there. But you see anything that stood out in that fight to you, Chris? Anything weird, different, or just, stood out about that one?
I've never seen someone in an NBA fight just get thrown to the ground.
Yeah, that was they were just face to face, and he grabbed his jersey and then just.
It was like a little kid fight.
It was really weird. Because, Hero's what? He's probably 6. I don't even know what he is, 6'5", 6'6", and he just got dismissed pretty easily. And I don't even know really what started that. Just obviously probably John. But if I think it's a sign of things to come, no, I'm going to go with just a blip. We just odd that we had 2 in a couple days. A couple suspensions here will be coming for sure. They already did the other one. So, all right, there you go. Let's get to question number 2.
Question 2.
Colorado's football's big season ended with a whimper. What are your thoughts on that? And on Deion Sanders for next year?
Well, here's my overall thought on Deion. I think he's over-covered in a lot of ways. I don't think I know he doesn't mind it, but I wouldn't say he necessarily asked for it, but it's a reality. Last year, I remember when they...
If you have your own reality show, aren't you asking for it?
Probably. I remember last year when they started 3-0 and people were like, can this team win the national championship? I'm like, oh my gosh, relax. Good start. Let him enjoy it. If he can get to a bowl game last year, that would have been impressive. I think they won one more game. They won 4 games. This year, It was like now it was like he was left a little bit he wasn't as hyped as he was the year prior, and he did a nice job. I mean, Colorado had a good season. And yeah, they lost their final game in the bowl game, didn't play very well. I thought some of the most telling things about their bowl game was his emotions after the game with his kids. I mean, playing their final game, Shedeur Sanders, and the emotion of walking out with him on the final game and ending that way. And he's going to be a professional after that. So, I mean, he's still a dad. He's still got his emotions. So I think, Deion's done a nice job. And I don't think everything has to be, he's got to win the championship or bust. Like, why? Colorado hasn't been a threat to win a national championship in years. They won one in early 90s? So he's done a nice job with that program. He's done it his way. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you. But, I mean, I think Deion's done a nice job. I think he got too much hype early on, and that's fine. That's kind of the way this machine works, and I don't know how things get picked that way. Some understandably, others I don't know why it does, but it does. So for him, good for him. The last loss, I mean, half the teams are going to lose their bowl game, right? And doesn't mean it's any less of a season. They weren't playing for a national championship. Their season is over, but they had a nice job, and if he can do it again, then, look, he's built a pretty nice program there at Colorado. All right, question number 3.
Question 3.
The Lakers traded D'Angelo Russell back to Brooklyn. Who do you think won the trade?
Yeah, see, this is what everybody's kind of who won the trade. Well, Brooklyn's got a philosophy, and this might be even a question for Kings fans in general that are here on our YouTube, on our text line, or if you'd like to call in, because I saw a lot of Kings fans upset with, there's been some interest in a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. Understandably so. A 3-and-D, a bigger wing certainly could help a lot of teams, and I think could have helped the Kings, but he's now a member of the Lakers via the trade. So Dorian Finney-Smith, why couldn't the Kings have made that trade? Why couldn't they have done it? Well, there's obviously a desire here for the Nets to they've got a plan. Let's put it that way. Their plan, and it's kind of been shifting for a couple of different times here, because remember, they loaded this team up with Durant, with Kyrie, with James Harden, added Ben Simmons, like ultimately after that other move. Like, this was a team that was thinking, let's get a championship. That team couldn't do it, couldn't stay healthy. They've changed coaches. I don't know if like an organization like that, if like maybe I'm speaking to Kings fans, would you rather be that and kind of constantly flipping things? Now, I think Brooklyn is set up financially and with draft picks to change their team. But even when you traded Durant for a piece like Bridges was, and Cam Johnson were going to be the next pieces that you were going to build around. And now you've moved Bridges, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't move Cam Johnson. So when you have a guy like Durant and you trade him, you're looking for your next Kevin Durant. Well, they don't have him right now, and maybe they'll draft him or trade for him or get a free agent signing like that. But they clearly know what they're doing as far as what direction they're trying to go. They're rebuilding. But sometimes it takes a long time to rebuild, and some teams do it well and can track it and do it right. Others, it takes them a while. But to get a guy like D'Angelo Russell, I think the main reason they wanted him was an expiring contract. So could the Kings have been involved? They don't have as many. Let me look at Sacramento's expiring contracts. Because, let's see, obviously Sabonis, Fox, DeRozan, Monk, Herter, Murray, Trey Lyles is expiring. Alex Len, Doug McDermott, Jay Crowder. I mean, you have to move a bunch of those pieces to get salary equivalent to get a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. So their philosophy was they wanted picks. They got 3 second-rounders, I believe, and an expiring contract. That's what they wanted. Could the Kings have offered enough of that? Maybe, but maybe it's not players that, you got to have two to tango here. And I'm sure the Kings had been talking to them. Other teams were, apparently Memphis was close to making the deal. But as far as who won the trade, I mean, actually getting the player that I think they wanted is the Lakers. Now, again, like any other trade, got to give it some time. Got to get a full evaluation of it and see what it looks like for LA. But to add another lengthy wing with what they've already got makes some sense for LA. Russell is a little bit of a puzzling player to me. He plays in a speed that looks like he doesn't care if that makes sense. But he can produce, and he had good games against the Kings, and wouldn't have been bummed if they had made the trade, Saturday, so he would have been out of that game. But it was really more Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, even Dalton Connect a little bit had their impact against the Kings on that game on Saturday. But yeah, I think the Lakers did a nice job with that trade. I don't think it's going to change much of their overall outlook. I don't look at them as a team that gets out of the West. But look, they're trying to help their process. And, the other thing I thought about over the weekend, too, about the Kings specifically and where their lot is amongst the Western Conference. And I can tell you, I talked to someone at the broadcast meetings that was talking about kind of the Kings' position going into this season, where they felt they liked their moves in the offseason. And obviously, so far, it hasn't played out to fruition as much as the Kings thought, as a lot of people thought. But amongst the Clippers, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Lakers, all those teams still have their superstars, but they're all aging. At some point, the Suns with Beal and Durant, and the Lakers with AD and LeBron, and Kawhi and Harden and Steph and Draymond. Like, they're nearing the back end, if not near the end, where the Kings are in a better position there. At least that was the thought process that we shared in the offseason. But right now, all those teams are performing better than the Sacramento Kings. So when we come back, I want to dive into this. I kind of talked a little bit around it and about it, but the mismanagement of this, the firing of Mike Brown, what's next for the Kings, we will get into that when we return right here on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The holiday driving season is here, and my good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an awesome holiday oil change special going on right now. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for up to 5 quarts of full synthetic motor oil with the online coupon. Go visit jiffylube.com right now, find a location near you, and get that $33 off full synthetic oil change coupon now. Most vehicles are covered, especially vehicles and diesel or extra. You got to show the coupon for discount. See the store for details. Happy holidays from Jiffy Lube.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, like America's best-selling F-Series. Check out a huge selection of Mavericks, F-150s, and Super Duty trucks, or tech-filled SUVs like Explorers and Expeditions. Plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. All in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest finance rates. And Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they are my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. For 35 years and counting, come down and take a test drive today. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat. Bring out all the flavors of the upcoming holidays with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. And get this, Napoleon Grill's Black Friday Cyber Mondays include a limited time $300 off their top-selling Phantom Grill and 15% off all gas, kettle, and travel grills. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last. Complete with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Whitey and Napoleon Grills wish you happy holidays. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and vocal.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Continuing here on Sacktown Sports. Jason Ross with you, Chris Verlot as well. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or Jiffy Lube Drive the Game coming up in our next segment. Frankie Cardelli at the top of the hour. But let's check in with JR this morning. Good morning, JR.
Merry New Year, almost.
Yes. How are you?
How are you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
How you doing? How's the family? Everybody good? Did you have a good little Christmas?
Yeah, we had a great little Christmas. They included me in this year, which was nice that they added me in.
That is nice. Yeah, usually they stick you outside and you have to look through the window.
Yeah, I get the scraps.
Like one of those,
yeah.
Yeah, they toss things out, a little coal, a little hot coal for old Jason outside the window.
Yeah, but I always catch it, JR. I always catch it. These hands are too good.
Too good, yes. You should be a receiver. Oh, by the way, I'm going tonight. Got to check out these Lions. I heard they're pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Niners
game of the year.
In a meaningless game that I said I signed on for about 3 months ago. Anyway, free food.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Yes. Hey, wow. You know, went to a couple games down the stretch. I went to that Indiana game, and boy, was that painful.
Yeah.
And it kept going, and everyone's like, I got to do something. Now, what they did, obviously, is not what a lot of us thought. That was a total shocker. Mike should have got a little more respect. I will say at the end, Vivek was a little too involved. Here's my opinion, real quick, real take. He gets involved a little too much. He meddles. Jerry Jones, you know, he kind of, why is he going to the locker room at halftime? Little things like that to me, as a player-coach kind of guy, you need to stay away. Let the coach, and let the manager manage, and you're the owner. Stay out of the mix. And that didn't happen. Now we all got to put our heads up, though. I mean, as fans, that's all you can do, right? Put your heads up and move forward.
Yeah, this team has to do. I mean, I hated the way they handled this. I thought they botched that, but the reality is it does go on, and you can either just sit in this and lose 20 in a row, or just get back at it and try to. What they did this move is to try to save the season, and that's what they have to try to do. I'm not sure they can do it though.
Yeah, I hope Doug can get them to think right and just play right. And, that's all you can do. Like you said, as fans, we want to see them win. They're not that far off still. I know that sounds crazy, but let's face it, they could right the ship. The question, though, in 2025 will be, do I have enough Jim Beam in my cabinet to get me through the rest of the season? That's the only thing I'm thinking about, because I'm going to drink more and eat more this season. That's my New Year's resolution.
And you know what, JR? I think you'll achieve it.
I will. Everyone always sets the bar really high. I'm like, no. Put that bar right on the ground. I'll step right over. I'm going to eat, drink, be mean to people. I love it. Going into 2025. Bye-bye.
There you go. There's JR. Have fun at the game. Tonight he's going to the Niners and the Lions. All right, so let's get into some of the things that JR was talking about there and this whole dismissal of Mike Brown. Well, first and foremost, kind of want to get back to the one thing that JR said they're not far off as far as the standings. That's the one thing, like in the past, where the Western Conference is just too good. The top part is the Kings aren't in that group. They don't belong in that group. They don't belong with OKC and Memphis and Houston. And it doesn't matter that they beat Houston this year and earlier this year. That's fine. They beat them in a game. But that group is starting to separate a little bit. But the rest of that group, it is gettable if this team can figure it out. And I said it on Friday. I'll stick with my thought that I had then. Look, they had a mess. They were in a mess. Mike Brown was part of it. The players are part of it. The front office is part of it. I think this is a collective issue here. There are roster flaws, but I like what Doug said earlier. If you heard it on the show, his conversation with the G-Man, he believes that there is enough in that locker room to win. And I agree. I mean, it doesn't mean that win at the rate of the Oklahoma City Thunder, but can they win at the rate of the Clippers, of the Warriors, of the Lakers? I think so. Again, I don't think expectations, when we say there are expectations, I thought they were fair for this team. To be a playoff team, I think that's fair. to possibly win a round. I thought that was possible if the matchup was right. I thought that was fair. Now, were they underachieving? Absolutely. Did it mean the coach had to go? I say no. But with that said, I think Mike Brown had some things that he wasn't doing properly. Like if he's sending messages to this team and the team isn't receiving them, ultimately, who gets the boot? It's the coach. It's not the first time. It's not the last time. It's probably not even right, but it's the way of the process. You can't fire every player or trade every player. Could they have done something in the front office? Yeah, I guess so. That's, with a trade deadline coming up, that's a little bit of a disarray move. And then if you get a new GM, does the new GM want a new coach anyway? So, again, I hated the way this was handled first and foremost. I mean, to tell Mike Brown on the way to the plane when the Kings were going to LA after they already practiced, after you already had a media session, it was not, that was awful. That was an embarrassment. That was not the way it should have been done. Now, the other thing, my other beef with this would be, look, if you make the decision, make the decision. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. That's the decision that was made, and you move on. What I think personally should have happened, this is my opinion, and it's happened before in the past. I can remember press conferences where Jeff Petrie and or the Maloofs were there and standing up in front of the media and explaining the move that was made. Jeff Petrie had to stand there and talk about the guy he hired, Rick Adelman, and his friend, that he dismissed him. That was not an easy move to make. Tough moves need explaining. The first person we should hear from shouldn't be, hey, De'Aaron, what's your thoughts on this? Hey, DeMontis, Malik. Asking the players, and the media's not wrong in that, but that's who's standing up for the organization. To Doug Christie, who I don't know I'm sure Doug had a relation. I know he had a relationship with Mike Brown, but now you're having to switch gears and you're the head coach guiding this team. That's a really difficult spot to put all of those people in. And, it almost doesn't even matter how it went down as far as whether it came from Vivek, from Monty, if players kind of came through. The people that are the decision makers that actually made it happen have to speak to the media. And that needs to be Monte McNair. If that's Vivek, he could be up there too. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy press conference. Maybe you don't want to do it, but that's part of the job. So I think that was a misplay by the Kings. And really, what is the answer? I mean, we saw a press release. I get it. They'd lost some games. And you don't hang your head. Well, Mike Brown was coach of the year. He was. That's been I think of the last 12 coaches of the year, 9 are no longer coaching their team. So that's common. I mean, it's sad, but it's common. But I go back to even the decision in the offseason. There obviously was some uncertainty in whether it was the financial terms or just not even be 100% sold on Mike Brown. Something was there in which there was that little bit of drawn out time in which Mike Brown did not get his extension. And then he did. And it reminds me, it has some earmarks. And look, if you make a mistake in the past, you hope that you clean it up and you don't do the same thing again. And I think we had seen this team get some continuity. I think continuity is very important in an organization. And they also had some success. And so you try to build on that and keep that going, and you find your tweaks here and there. So, coaches don't last forever. I get that. But Mike Brown had been their most successful coach since Rick Adelman. Again, was he perfect? No. Did he make some substitution and some questionable timeout? I mean, yes, there were things I would be very critical of Mike Brown for. But I think if you were not sold on Mike Brown in the offseason, then you should have done this in the offseason. Had a fresh, a brand new start. I believe the Kings and other organizations obviously were very high on a guy like Jordy Fernandez. Maybe he's your coach today. I'm not saying the results would be different, but that was a coach pretty highly regarded in this organization and in other organizations, and now he's coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Coaching changes during the season rarely work, and I think the thought process behind this one was the season was going nowhere fast, and something had to be done, and the easiest and quickest thing would be a trade. That's not developed just yet. The next one is the most common one, is that's to change the coach. But to not have someone from the front office have a press conference and speak about it the way they dismissed Mike Brown, and now to do it this early in the season, the thought is you're saving the season. And I don't know that that can be done. I'm rooting for that. I want that to happen. But you've really put the players, Doug Christie, everyone else in a difficult situation here. And then are you going to be back in a spot where you're more than likely, or maybe likely, hiring a new coach again at the end of this season? I don't want that to be the case. I want it to work for Doug. I want this team to get out of this hole and make the postseason and this be a great success story. But those examples in the league of that happening are really few and far between. And like I said earlier, I felt like this was similar to the situation they had with Luke Walton when they began that year, and you could just tell they weren't fully certain that he should be the coach going forward, and then they fired Luke Walton early in that season. If you're not certain, if there's any sense of doubt, you've got to pull the trigger sooner or commit. And they kind of played both sides here. And they said, nah, we got to make a change. And, if the players were upset, why? If the front office was upset, why? If management, overall, Vivek ownership upset, why? Let us know. Tell us. What is it? What was it? Yeah, we see the record, but the overall record and the track record of Mike Brown has been good. The thought from others now, you can't really worry about what others say about you, but it's very public what every other coach in the NBA is saying about you. And again, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Those coaches are going to defend their own, and they're all going to defend Mike Brown. And I get it, but I believe their authenticity in what they're saying. Now, Michael Malone has some bitterness behind him, and I get that too, because he felt he was wrongfully fired by Vivek Ranadive, who's still the owner here. Now, that wasn't Monte McNair, but that was Vivek. So some of the trends that have happened before are here again, and those are not good trends. So very concerning. I hated the way the organization did it. Now, we can argue the merits and whether it was the right move or not. That's fine. But the way they did it is a really bad look, and that's too bad. I think Mike Brown deserved better than that. He was a very good coach here. And again, he wasn't going to coach here forever. He knew that. But I was very surprised that they did it. Very, very surprised that they did it. But with that said, now you move on. Now it's Doug Christie's time. It's on the players. These guys got to be better. Fox, Sabonis, Murray, Monk, DeRozan, down the list. They all have to be better. And they all know now it's on full alert. Any of them could be traded. Any of them. No one should feel safe. And we'll see if this organization continues to just try to patch and get better, or if there's an even grander, bigger scheme ahead. We shall see. All right, we'll break. When we come back, your chance, line up right now. 1-800-920-1140, 916-339-1140. Identify our Jiffy Lube drive of the game, and if you're the first one to do it from Saturday's game, you'll win a $100 gift card, courtesy of our friends at Jiffy Lube, and more reaction to the Kings news when we come back here on Sacktown Sports.
The quest for ring number 6 happens here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
My ball George went out and caught the ball. Touchdown! San Francisco.
Listen on Sacktown Sports for all the 49ers action.
Jennings went up and took it away. What a catch by JJ. He scored 3 touchdowns today.
Quest for 6 lives here on your local sports leader, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
How is your job to school? Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
My mother faced the same challenges that I had growing up. She was smoking, so I started smoking too. My mom got sick. Seeing her on a breathing machine, I had to open my eyes. Do I want to be another product of my environment or help change the world?
Keenan ended the cycle of nicotine addiction in his family. You can too. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for the wrap-up the year sales event?
Well, you have a choice to make. Save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs. Or save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months. It's savings your way at Hoblet, not to mention all the savings at the pump with 56 MPGE.
Ooh, those are really nice Jeeps. You can't beat that mileage.
The Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under 20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
17,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE models up to $12,250 factory and federal rebates and $4,750 dealer discounts. Rebates include $500 first responder bonus cash for eligible first responders, $3,750 federal EV tax credit. Consult a tax professional for details. 0% for 72 months available in place of $7,500 consumer cash. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. $1,389 per thousand borrowed. 5 of the set savings. Sample VIN 681180. See dealer for details.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
All right, once again, if you were listening on Saturday to the radio broadcast, the great G-Man, Gary Gerald, and you can identify our Jiffy Lube drive of the game, 1-800-920-1140, 916-339-1140. You could be a winner of our Jiffy Lube $100 gift certificate, thanks to our friends at Jiffy Lube. So, again, identify that Jiffy Lube drive of the game. We'll have another one tonight. You'll be able to identify that tomorrow. Again, coming up in about 10 or 12 minutes or so, we will visit with Sacktown Sports insider Frankie Cardelli, a Kings insider, Frankie Cardelli.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
Yeah, Frankie, amongst others, all the rest of us out there living this in real time. Kind of surreal, really, for this to happen. And I said it earlier in the show, for those, I know people jump in at different times. I'm not, I mean, no, I don't know that anybody's a fan of hearing the Kings being labeled as the Kangs, right? Kangz. And it's just basically, when it's referred to that, it's the laughing stock, it's the joke, it's the 40 years of mostly losing and making mistakes and being poked fun at by the national media. And then you do something like this. Again, it's not even that they let go of Mike Brown as much as the way they did it, right? That's probably the worst thing. And I think Mike Brown deserved better than that. He's a classy guy, likable guy, and he had done a good job. Not perfect, but he had, by and large, had done a good job. The team hadn't reached the playoffs in 16 years, and you don't just live off of that. Like, he still has to earn his keep. But if there, like I said earlier, if there were some doubts on his future, I don't think it would have been the worst crime ever to tell Mike, look, you are going to have one final year in your contract. We like you, but prove it. You prove it, just like a player has to prove it in a final year of a deal. And if not, if you don't want that, well, then you can leave. But if so, we want to make sure. And then that way, I mean, I don't feel as badly for the organization. I'm happy for Mike that he's going to get paid. But now the Kings are going to be paying multiple coaches. And they've had to do that before. It's generally a bad look. And I think the way they did it, the other byproduct of that, and I said, look, every coach around the league, whether it's been Spoelstra, Malone, Steve Kerr, Bickerstaff, like basically I've seen every coach come to Mike Brown's defense as expected. But the problem with that is if, in fact, the Kings will be looking for another head coach at some point, if it's not Doug Christie, that word is out. Now, Mike Brown took the job. Things, sometimes you get a coach that has a track record that hadn't been back at the head coaching position like Mike Brown, and the timing was right and it worked. But maybe there's others like, nah, let's not go there. Not really that interested. I don't like what that organization is doing. You're shrinking your pool of candidates, and that's not a good thing based on the way you've handled things. The Kings did a nice job of kind of turning around the overall narrative, but one mistake can get you right back to that same narrative, which is too bad. They earned it, right? They have absolutely earned it. All right, let's go to the phone lines, check in with Les. Les, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Do you know our Jiffy Lube drive of the game?
Yes, it's Monk passing for alley-oop dunk to Keon Ellis.
Okay, hang tight, Les. Let's listen back, see if you are correct.
Keon Ellis knocks it away. It's grabbed by Keegan Murray. 3-on-1 breakout. Here's Monk. Sets up the alley-oop. Oh, it's hammer time. A beautiful throwdown off the dribble that time from Keon Ellis. Monk set him up perfectly. And that, without doubt, is your Jiffy Lube drive of the game.
Well done, Les. You correctly identified that. Hang on. We will give you your $100 gift card courtesy of Jiffy Lube.
Thank you.
All right,
I'm going to tonight's game, so looking forward to Christie at home.
Well, Les, you think we're finally going to see that beam? It's been missing for a long time.
It has been. Can't wait.
All right, let's hope tonight's a new night and a better night for them. Thank you, Les. We appreciate that.
I would like to know the percentages of Malik Monk being a part of the Jiffy Lube drive of the game.
You know what? That's a good take. I 80, 70?
It seems he's either going to the basket or he's passing to somebody.
Yeah. It's usually a Malik Monk play, and you're right, Chris. There it was. Congrats, Les. You are a winner of our Jiffy Lube $100 gift card. Yeah, so that's the other part about this. And fans come in all shapes and sizes and beliefs and desires. And I've said this, Dave and I have talked a lot about this on the show, that there's our YouTube chatters, and which are very spirited and vocal today and very critical, and that's okay. I would say that's akin to social media. Texters sometimes, maybe a little bit less. And then, I try to say this to Dave. I go, there are literally going to be people at the game tonight. They won't be oblivious to a 6-game losing streak. That's not my point. My point will be is they're there. They're going. They're excited. Maybe some are going to a game for the first time ever. They want to be entertained. They, just want to see, hopefully, the team win. And they'll have a good time at the basketball game. So there's all sorts of different types of fans, but it's the ones that are depressed after they lose. These games have an impact on their emotional state. I feel for you, because this team for 40 years, more times than not, has been frustrating and has lost. And there had been a good thing here for a little bit. Doesn't mean it can't be garnered back in and back on that path, but right now they're off their path. And it's how far are they going to get off the path? And, for those of you that want to change it drastically, I'm not trying to talk you out of that. If you're saying blow it up, trade Fox, trade Sabonis, trade them all, get rid of them all, trade them all, start new. Okay, that's a plan. That's a philosophy. I think right now they are closer to the team that's being on track than the team that's off track. So let's just say let's go down the road and we'll do a big trade. You trade Fox and you trade Sabonis somehow, some way. So two of your foundational pieces that helped you get here and also helped you get to where you are right now in this losing way. Obviously, you'd get something in return, whether it's a quality player of their ilk or future assets that you're trying to build upon. I think the second you move a player like Fox or the second you move a player like Sabonis, you are trying to find the next De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis, and you've got them. One you drafted, the other you had to trade for. It's a little bit like drafting DeMarcus Cousins. You watch him develop, you see him get better. You're like, man, well, you got one of the best centers in the league, and ultimately over time they dealt him, and until they got Sabonis, they didn't have another center quite like DeMarcus Cousins. And in the 40 years of this team being here, I would say Sabonis is definitely a top 10 player here, maybe top 5 over time. Fox is a top 5 player. Fox became the all-time steals leader in Kings history. He's, I think he's number 1 in assists, isn't he? And he's number 2 in points. So he's one of the best Kings they've ever had. And you would try to find another player like him if you dealt him. And that's the hard part about really doing the overall blow up and reboot. It can be a path. It can be done. But I just don't see that happening right now. But hey, look, I spent all of Friday's show going, I don't see them changing coaches. I just don't. And then about 3 hours later, they made the move. So we shall see. We'll see what Frankie Cardelli has to say about that. He's our Sacktown Sports Kings insider, and he joins us next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Classes start January 8th. Apply now and save with no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2025. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
California, it's the Ford Year-End Sell-a-thon. 14 days of the biggest savings on an incredible selection. So visit your California Ford dealer now through January 2nd and get great offers across the lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the built Ford Tough F-150 truck, part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 47 years and counting. Or the adventure-ready Ford Bronco Sport with GOAT modes to help you conquer the great outdoors. And check out the always electrifying Ford Mustang Mach-E with 0 to 60 thrills and 0 emissions. It's the Ford Year-End Sell-a-thon, and it's your chance to save. Whether it's gas, hybrid, or all-electric, now is the best time to get behind the wheel of your brand new Ford truck or SUV and drive it home today. But hurry, these offers absolutely end January 2nd. So go to your California Ford dealer today. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes. so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
There's no better time than the beginning of a new year to get ready to make good on all of those promises you've made to yourself about getting fit. And there's no better place than In Shape Fitness to get the ball rolling or bouncing. So grab some friends for a game of pickup basketball on our courts. Or stretch your limits in a yoga or Pilates class. In Shape personal trainers are standing by, just waiting for the opportunity to help you create a happy new you. We are In Shape. You are ready. Join online today at InShape.com.
It's the year-end sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. Get last chance year-end savings on your favorite new Ford models. Low payments and even 0% financing with approved credit. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeFord.com.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, welcome into the 8 o'clock hour here. Jason Ross, Christopher Laud, Carmichael Dave off. He'll be back with us next Monday. Lots going around, circling around our Sacramento Kings. As Friday, they dismissed Mike Brown. Doug Christie named interim coach. They played Saturday. They've lost. That's 6 in a row. And now they're back at it tonight at home. Yet another homestand for the Kings. See if we can see that beam at some point here on this homestand. But joining us, our Sacktown Sports Kings insider. There he is, Frankie Cardelli. Good morning, Frankie.
That's what we do. Happy Monday. Good morning. Is it a good morning? I don't know. It's been an interesting 72 hours here in the 916, but alas, there will be more basketball played tonight, whether we like it or not, and we'll see if they can light the beam for the first time in almost 3 weeks. I think it's been 18 days since they've won a basketball game. So crazy.
New Orleans, the last one, the demon of a year ago.
A game that they almost lost, by the way, in the closing moments. I think CJ McCollum had a chance to win the game. He had a flamethrower of a game and really won CJ McCollum shot away from a 7-game losing streak. So that's a nice little wrinkle to it all.
Yeah, after doing all that work to get back to 500, they've given it all back. And then some, Frankie, now 6 losses in a row. But everybody's talking about the decision they made on Friday. I've shared my thoughts. I wouldn't have done it. That's me, but it's been done. I hated the way they did it. I think that was an embarrassment for this organization, but I'd love to get your opinion on just the overall decision to depart with Mike Brown.
Yeah, it's funny how much all the goodwill and, not just from a local standpoint, but a national standpoint can just kind of disappear when a swift kind of knee-jerk reaction like that takes place. And, Brendan Nunes and I were filling in for our pal Alan Stiles when the news all kind of started going down. And actually, I just hopped off. Brendan was about to get done with his show too. It was 1:45, I think. And the news broke. So we weren't able to go to practice. And that's something that we kind of were pretty bummed about. Mike just being, not aside from being a coach, just a great guy that he is, a great person, just really insightful and a great guy to talk to, in front of the mic and behind the mic. And, I think that the news was stunning for sure. And the sad part of it is I think a lot of Kings fans can also relate to the fact that it's not all the way surprising. It's kind of just like I made a joke when, Chris Watkins and Brendan and I recorded over the weekend. I said, it's kind of like we got tossed into a DeLorean and thrown back into 2021. Like this is all very similar. And 8 head coaching changes over 11 years in this new ownership tenure. It's kind of warranted the responses you see around the league. And Mike Brown is someone who, this wasn't a first or second year or, a head coach who was still kind of trying to get his bearings at the NBA. This is Mike Brown, who's been in the league for 30 plus years as an assistant coach, head coach, been in some winning situations in Cleveland, Los Angeles down the line. Coach of the year, not even 24 months ago. It's one thing that kind of makes you wonder, and you see the responses from coaches around the league, the Ty Lues, the Michael Malones, which is obvious for those reasons. And down the line, Eric Spoelstra had some comments about the Kings the other day. Steve Kerr, the coaching family of the NBA, if this does not end up being Doug Christie's for the long haul, which we'll see what happens, who's going to really want to come in here and take this job? Because you have a very, very short leash being head coach of the Sacramento Kings. That is true. No head coach in this, new ownership regime since 2013 has lasted more than 3 seasons. So I look at more as the Kings continuing to shoot themselves in the foot. And whether you liked Mike Brown's coaching styles or not, and he wasn't perfect, I don't think this was the answer to this team's issues. And a team that is severely flawed, not just in roster construction, but, for a lot of reasons. And we saw the other night, and it's one game, and Doug Christie, you can't expect him to come in here and flip the things around on its head. But the same issues we saw, poor 3-point shooting on the offensive end. You allow the Lakers to shoot 50% from 3. It all comes down to the front office to me. And, we'll see what happens. But it's just really a huge step back for the Kings, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that was one of my biggest criticisms of this, Frankie, is kind of coming from the front office and or management above them, Vivek, where, in the past I've been at press conferences where difficult decisions were made, and there's Jeff Petrie and or the Maloofs at the press conference. Like, I think that should have been, look, tell us the why. I mean, there's a reason. Mike Brown is out. We can agree, we could disagree, but I feel like the people that made that decision should be the ones standing in front of the media answering those questions.
I agree. And I think the whole way that it kind of unfolded was gutless in my opinion. And I know that there's a process of how things have to unfold, and you have to get clearances from ownership when that move is going to be made. But to me, you hear whispers, it got pretty loud. What we've been hearing for the past couple of weeks is that there was a clear disconnect between the front office and Mike Brown. And I'm not sure if it's something that would have been put off if that late game meltdown didn't take place against Detroit, which is why I think it's also kind of ridiculous. If De'Aaron Fox doesn't foul in that last play, not that it's all De'Aaron Fox's fault, but if the Kings win that game against Detroit by, 1 possession, a game that they really had control of the whole time, does Mike Brown still get fired? The answer is probably no. And I feel like that it was a straw that broke the camel's back, but the way that it all unfolded where, Mike's out there holding a press conference and, relaying to the media, taking accountability, by the way. Like you said, he's out there every day taking accountability, saying he needs more from himself. It starts with him. And you fire him on the way to the airport. He's in house 15 minutes before that. So I just think it's kind of spineless. It was really just kind of, like a coward move, whatever you want to call it. And like you said, it's all in the front office now, whether or not Mike Brown is gone. And I don't think Doug Christie is going to be looked at, in April if the Kings fall short and say, well, it's all about coaching. If Monte McNair and Wes Wilcox and that front office group isn't able to upgrade this roster to a point where they're able to compete and hold their own against their opposing teams every single night, that's on them. So to me, I'm looking at it as a matter of Mike Brown is gone, scapegoat, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if it's all the way his fault. We're going to see. It's now in the front office. They have, I think, 50 games now to prove. Monte McNair he has 1 more year on his contract as well. They need to prove that for their work for their jobs now. But the way this all unfolded, it felt kind of gross. And again, just it's crazy to see. You open your feed on Friday night and Saturday morning, people just have turned on the Kings quickly, and you can't say it's unwarranted. I mean, it really is a bad look around the league for a lot of reasons. I don't know whether you wanted Mike Brown, and we've seen a lot of comments in this YouTube chat, in our YouTube comments, across social media that aren't from, the 1140 platforms, people that are saying they aren't the biggest fans of Mike Brown and his rotations have been sporadic. That's fine if you agree that way. But if you agree with the way that this all unfolded and you just kind of want to point to that's the nature of the beast in the business, it's really not, though. It's the nature of the beast in the business in bad situations and, places that look unappealing to incoming free agents or incoming head coaching candidates. That's the reality of it all. So if you want to continue to shoot yourselves in the foot, they're doing a good job of it. And, it's still relatively quote unquote early, which I hate to say. We're almost near the midway point of the year, but if it's time to do it, you want to see what you have the rest of the way. I understand, but you could have gone about it a much better way.
Yeah, you'd rather the debate be, well, should you have fired him or not? That's always going to be a debate. But the way you did it, I think there's no question that was not the way it should have been done. But it has been done now, Frankie, and there is time left. And I think when you do it like this, the thought process is you're trying to save a season. We've seen coaches dismiss with 10, 12 games to go, and like, hey, we're just going to see what we got the final 12 games, play all the young guys, and we're just going to clear out the year. Well, this isn't the case. You've got more than 50 or now 50 to go. And technically they're still in the race, though. They got to get cooking here. What do you think going forward? Look, I think every player now that's got to be in the locker room's got to be on trade alert. They now know their coach has been dismissed. The front office probably is on high tension. I don't think the pressure necessarily is a bad thing, but kind of what do you think about the outlook now going forward for front office and players?
Yeah, I mean, from a roster standpoint right now, even though they're very thin at the forward spots, they do have a lot of talent, and they should have enough talent to play better than what they're showing. I mean, 13-19 to me is inexcusable. And as not to keep dumping on the front office, they do need to kind of get off their hands and make a move here, obviously, but they have enough talent 1 through 6, 1 through 7 in that rotation to compete much better than they have. So I'm looking at it as a matter of, can they play consistent basketball if they stay healthy, which looks like they are. Devin Carter even will be thrown in the mix pretty soon here. Looked great against in Stockton the other night, playing in his G League tune-up game. He needs a little bit longer. He really was a little gassy the other night, but getting Devin Carter back and throwing him in the rotation should be another interesting wrinkle to everything. But like you said, I mean, nobody's really untouchable at this point, in my opinion. I think when you're in a situation like this, and I do think that when you make a coaching change like this, it shows that ownership and up top believe that it's really not the overall core of his talent. And I've heard from many people that, up top, they really believe in this core. They believe in this core. They want to see it through. The De'Aaron Fox behind the scenes stuff, that to me, that doesn't mean that something's going to happen before the February trade deadline. I think that they're very hard on, going to be very hard to find a deal that's going to make them want to move off of him. They feel like he is someone they want to build around. But I do think, like you said, Jason, it's going to add another interesting element to it all, that Doug Christie is a rookie head coach and someone who's been around the game for a long time. He's a basketball lifer. The fact that he was a player, the fact that he has been around this organization in this capacity for a couple of years now, I think helps for sure. But you have to kind of see some things happen on the fly and some learning on the fly. And, like you said too earlier in the show, I think a lot of us want this to work out for Doug. And a lot of people like myself, grew up watching Doug, got a chance to work with Doug here at the station. Like, there's a lot of reasons why I want Doug Christie to succeed as a head coach of the Sacramento Kings. I also can't help but feel it's a little bit unfair that he's going to be held to, kind of going back to where Vlade and Peja when they're in those roles. It's that fascination with the early 2000s teams that a lot of us, hold close to our hearts. These situations that they're being put into or being brought in for by ownership kind of have warped the way that we view them in the long run. Vlade is looked at, I think, in a completely different light than he was before. And you have to wonder if that's going to be the same for Doug, or will Doug be viewed in a positive light? The Kings rattle off 10 of 12 or something like that. But looking to see how Doug responds to this job and how the roster responds, not great in Los Angeles the other night, but back home, 6-12 at Golden One Center. You have to hope it can't get much worse than that. Another homestand. They continue to have a home heavy schedule for a little bit here. Then they go on the road, I think, for the end of January into early February. But really, those are the things I'm looking for. How does Doug respond to being a head coach in this role? How will the roster respond? Will they play for him? Will they be motivated for him? Or will they continue to fall short and kind of check out? And I don't view it that way. I don't think the roster of players have checked out. A lot of people have kind of, questioned if the locker room is lost. I don't look at it that way. But change can sometimes be good. Was this the right change? I don't know. None of us really know yet. We're going to see. But like you said, there's a lot of basketball to be played. A lot of basketball to be played and a lot more storylines to be developed and to conclude. And we're going to see starting tonight at home.
Frankie, I want to ask you kind of your opinion on Fox, not necessarily as his game, the way he's played. I think some people have been very critical and maybe fairly so of him on some of his post-game and interview thoughts here lately. Obviously, the first one that jumps out is the mistake of the Pistons game, the 4-point play. And a lot of people wanted more accountability from him there in that moment. And even some of the stuff after Brown was let go. I know everybody's jumping in and breaking down a smirk, and he slept on the plane and, all of that stuff. Just your opinion on how Fox, I don't know, last week or so, just more so with the media with De'Aaron.
Yeah, De'Aaron's kind of been like that at times. And, I was pretty critical of his comments following that loss against Detroit. And, I think a leader should step up and say, that's on me. I'll wear that one, especially in a play like that where it's pretty individually, that's on you for not being where you're supposed to be. And you're up by 3, you should be pressuring the perimeter. And if they get by you, that's fine. You're up by 3, not by 2. So didn't love that, but emotions running high. And it sounds like the next day, Keegan Murray told the media that Fox did speak to the team and take accountability and say he needs to be better. And that really is the most important thing. that he is, telling those guys in the locker room and his teammates that I need to be better. I messed up. At the same time, I think the way that he's, when you speak to the media, you're also speaking to the fan base. It's not just you're talking to us in the press room. You're speaking to the fan base as a whole. And I think fans really took exception to that. The fans that are, buying tickets, are there every night to watch these guys play. That was what I think that would kind of ruffle the feathers and set things the wrong way. And he's been like that before. I think a lot of us kind of were talking about, in the media, that it kind of was reminiscent to right before the Halliburton Sabonis trade. Fox really kind of seemed checked. People called it checked out. Just seemed like he wasn't caring much, being short with the media. I think he told us at one point he didn't really care about speaking to us at the time. He said he does it because he has to, and that's fair. It's in your contract as an NBA player. You have to, provide media availability. But I do think that Fox, we mentioned a lot, fans, media, everybody. It seems like he could do a better job of showing up, more consistently throughout games. And he plays great when he's angry, when he has a chip on his shoulder. But we don't see it very much, that edge and that kind of passion. And I don't think that means he's lacking it. I think that just means he chooses to kind of reach back into it at specific times. And that's a frustrating part of his game, I think. But, that's part of his game that has to grow still. I mean, he's going to be 27 or just turned 27 years old, and he still has some time to go in the NBA and to learn and to grow. And will it be here? I think a lot of us hope so. Some don't. Some fans have been pretty split on that lately. But the Sacramento Kings really right now with this current roster, they're going to go as far as De'Aaron Fox takes them. And if you do choose to move De'Aaron Fox, I in my opinion, I think it's a foregone conclusion that you have to go through a full rebuild. So I'm looking at these next 50 games for Fox as, a chance for him to kind of take the past week or so, or the past, season plus, and learn from it. And whether it's in the media or on the floor, or all of it, just kind of continue to grow as a professional, because if this group's going to succeed, it starts with him. I mean, it really, really does.
Frankie Cardelli, our Sacramento Sports Kings insider, joining us. Frankie, you mentioned Devin Carter earlier, a tremendous pro debut in Stockton. And as you said, he's not cleared for tonight, still some conditioning and a few other things to clear, but it's a matter of time before we see him play. I'm not sure where he fits in. I think he's going to get some runs somewhere, and it'll be impactful. They've got so many guards, but what do you think when, in fact, he gets that time, how he'll play, and maybe who will that impact the most as far as other minutes?
Yeah, we've heard a long time that they'd reevaluate him in January, but he kind of got that reevaluation a little sooner, and rolled him out there at Golden Wand Center in front of decent crowd there to watch him play against the Spurs G League team. And 29 points on, I think, 6 of 9 from 3, I think 11 of 18 from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Really active, just a guy with a long wingspan. The shot, the form looks funky. A lot of people like to kind of point to that. Kind of similar to Tyrese Halliburton's shot. A lot of people thought, will the jumper, will it translate? I think it will. But it's a super athletic guy who did look winded, looked like he needed a little more time to get his conditioning in check. And it looks like the Kings, they agree with that as well. So I think that it might, make sense. The Stockton Kings have one more game, I think, at home on Thursday. And we haven't heard anything if that's going to be an option for him or not. Maybe he plays in that game, or maybe he's just going to continue to get practices with the team. But I think he needs a couple more days to really get that conditioning under him. And where does he fit? Great question, because someone who's able to play great, you'd hope great defense. He's known for his defense in college and his ability to defensive rebound, and active in the passing lanes. He's someone who, I think he's 6'3" with a 6'9" wingspan. Keon Ellis is somebody who's struggled to get playing time throughout the season so far. Even last night or 2 nights ago, I think he had around 15, 16 minutes of playing time. And, I think the plus minus is kind of a loaded stat, and, people, you can look at it how you want, but I think they're 7 points better with Keon Ellis on the floor. You can't really deny that the defensive aspect of Keon Ellis's game is really needed. It's a really important element to a Kings team that has maybe 1 or 2 other defenders that can kind of hold their own. They have De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray, but Keon Ellis is arguably the best defensive player on the Kings. So if Keon's struggling to get playing time, and that might be more so on the offensive end of things, kind of, inconsistency there and some blunders, Devin Carter, you have to hope, will come in. And, I think that we've seen Colby Jones get some minutes. Obviously, Devin Carter will be more in line to take those. Will he take minutes from Keon Ellis? Will he cut into Kevin Huerter's playing time? Those are all possible. But, we've heard for a long time that the Kings are very, very high on Devin Carter. They believed in him throughout the fact that he had a shoulder issue. But I do wonder how he fits and how any upcoming potential moves can affect that. Kevin Huerter's been dangled in trade talks for a while now, and his value seems pretty low at the moment. Do they end up having to possibly entertain the idea of moving Keon Ellis as a sweetener to take on someone like Kevin, or have a Trey Lyles included in a deal? I mean, I think that I think Keon right now really is someone who I think it's great to have if he'd be sticking around because the Kings, they have a lot of big contracts they're dealing with right now, and Keon's on a pretty respectable team-friendly deal. But I think opposing teams wanting to make a, trade, they're going to look to him because the Kings, their draft capital right now is pretty lacking, especially on the second-round pick element of things. You see a deal like for Dorian Finney-Smith and the Lakers the other night, I think a couple second-round picks and some salary filler. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell, expiring contract, but someone who could, help a team if he's bought out or if the Nets flip him. Probably more than the Kings have to offer, but the Kings don't even really have that many second-round picks to offer right now after dumping a couple in that Sasha Vezenkov salary dump. And, I think they gave a couple away, in the draft a couple of years ago. We've obviously seen them give away a couple impact players that have helped other teams in those second-round picks. But I'm intrigued to see where Devin Carter fits into it all. I think that he's someone that, in my mind, would be an interesting fit next to De'Aaron Fox in that starting lineup, someone who can shoot the ball and play a high level of defense and defend 1 through 3, maybe even 4 in some situations. So we'll see if he's ready to go next week. I'm looking at maybe next weekend around that kind of time frame, but not quite ready yet. Not conditioned to the point where he needs to be for an NBA game, but definitely someone who could be a help for the Kings in the final 50 games.
How about Sabonis? He okay? I know he played the other day, fouled out, but I thought he was still showing some signs of that illness. I hope he's good to go for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like not just from an NBA standpoint, but from a life standpoint, a lot of something going around right now. A lot of bugs going around that time of year.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was going through it pretty bad, and we know Sabonis. He does not miss games unless he absolutely is in the dumps. And for a guy who played through almost a whole season with a broken hand a couple of years ago, to someone who, I think a joke we always say on Media Row is, a Kings game doesn't start until Sabonis gets hit in the face. Wasn't feeling great. Flew into LA on Friday morning, and obviously a lot of change at that time point. But I think he's had hopefully a little more time to rest up and not on the injury report at all for tonight's game. So he should be good to go. And, like everybody else in life, hydrate and get those vitamins in. And that the Kings have the best training staff you could find around, and chefs down the line. He's being taken care of the best he can. So he'll be out there tonight against Dallas, and we'll see if he's feeling more close to 100%.
All right, how about thoughts on tonight's game as we try to advance this going forward now? 6-game losing streaks, brutal. You want to avoid 2- and 3-game losing streaks, but now they're at 6. Trying to avoid 7. Dallas doesn't have Luka. They don't have Najee Marshall. But still, Kyrie went for 46 in the loss the other day. What are your thoughts on this first matchup of the year with Dallas?
Yeah, we know that just because a team's missing their best player or multiple players, that it usually spells the opposite for the Kings. It usually is a bad thing when guys are missing. So, you're going to want to pay attention to Kyrie. You're going to want to make sure that you're aggressive on the glass tonight against Dallas, a team that has a lot of length, a team that has acquired targets. The Kings were, maybe should have kind of knocked on the door of last year, getting PJ Washington, a player the Kings have been linked to in the past. Daniel Gafford, another player the Kings probably could have used last year, kind of in that final stretch. Dallas gets both. And Dallas is kind of an example of that team that was kind of on the margins last year, kind of like in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference playoff race. And they made some upgrades. They leveraged some draft capital, but those moves worked out. They went to the NBA Finals, and right now I think they're 19-10 or 20-12. They're well above 500. So I'm looking at the Kings from their standpoint. Can you bounce back from a horrible night shooting the 3-ball in Los Angeles? Can you be above that 35% mark, where I think that they're 12-3, or they have like a 60% winning percentage when they shoot 35 or 36% or better from 3. So can you get better from that element of the game? And then on the other side, 3-point defense, Kings are 27th in 3-point defense this year. You let the Lakers shoot 50% from 3. No Luka helps for sure, but it kind of begins and ends there. And that's been the storyline of the whole year, really. It's been the 3-point aspect of this team. They can't defend it, and they can't really shoot it. So that should be something that should hopefully be at the front of everyone's minds. And another thing I'm looking forward to is Doug Christie's rotations. And Doug was kind of a huge hand with Mike in handling those rotations and substitutions and kind of putting his input there. But we haven't seen a tweak to any lineups yet. He didn't change the starting lineup yet. Brendan and I were really kind of speculating if putting Keon back in that starting 5 and having Malik come off the bench again is the right move. And, Mike got kind of creative before, he was fired. He put in Malik in the starting lineup against Detroit and pulled them 3 minutes into the beginning of each half and put Keon out there. It just kind of makes you wonder if that was kind of the beginning of him kind of starting to tinker with things. But I do think it wouldn't hurt to kind of mess with things, especially for a team that's lost 6 games in a row And I get it. Malik Monk has said he wants to start and he wants to be in that lineup, and it's important to him. But he's also mentioned, aside from that he'll do whatever the coaches need him to do to win games. And I think one aspect of Sacramento's success over the past couple of years, not this year, but the past couple of years, is that Malik Monk has been that dynamic bench guard that can score in volume. And the Kings right now are 27th in bench scoring. They have lacked bench scoring with Malik Monk in the starting lineup. And Malik's been solid in a starting role. But I feel like the balance is what's important. So if the front office isn't going to make a move to address that and bring in another scorer or another wing off the bench, I think you might have to go back and kind of, go with what's worked. But I wouldn't expect them to do that right now and rip that Band-Aid off. But say they lose tonight or continue to slide, I don't know how you don't make a lineup change at some point to kind of shake things up. But there's a lot to watch. Really, just a lot. Like everything that you're saying tonight, just kind of, it's game by game. Doug's second game as a head coach, and also interested to see what he says from a media availability standpoint. His head coach Doug Christie tonight. We'll see what he has to say, and if the Kings can somehow stop this bleeding, because it's still quote unquote early. We're not to the midway point of the season yet, but a lot of other teams around the West right now are kind of, like you said, that 1 through 3, 1 through 4 is kind of set right now, but really a lot can change over 1 week. If the Kings can rattle off a 3-game winning streak like they did before, they're right back kind of in that 9-10-8 situation. So easier said than done. Almost 3 weeks since we've seen a win, and the Beam has been collecting some dust there, but a lot of basketball to be played.
Well, a lot of stuff for you to cover. We can all check it out on Sacktown Sports. Frankie, always appreciate checking in with you. We'll see you at the game tonight.
All right. See you there, Jason. Thanks for a lot.
All right. Thank you. That is Frankie Cardelli.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
And he does bring the boom each and every time he joins us. You can always check out all his work on Sacktown Sports. Break time for us. We'll come back. 4 Down Territory is next.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Welcome back to another exciting game day. Grab your rally towels, throw on your jerseys, cheer, shout, and save on your gas. That's right, sports fans win big on home game days. Score instant savings of 25 cents per gallon on Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline with the Fuel Rewards program. And that's a victory for you and your tailgate team. Download the app, join the Fuel Rewards program today, and game on. Restrictions apply. Limited time. At participating Shell stations. For more details, visit fuelrewards.com.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat. Bring out all the flavors of the upcoming holidays with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. And get this, Napoleon Grill's Black Friday Cyber Mondays include a limited time $300 off their top-selling Phantom Grill and 15% off all gas, kettle, and travel grills. Napoleon Grills are built different, built better, built to last. Complete with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Whitey and Napoleon Grills wish you happy holidays. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda. I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Monday, getting out the door to some patchy areas of fog, and expect to have a cooler start to the day. Into the afternoon, we should see a mix of sun and clouds with a light north breeze. Highs today will peak in the mid-50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, our recipe for happy holidays is to think happy Honda days. There's no better time to visit Elk Grove Honda than during our year-end clearance sale in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
The holiday driving season is here, and my good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an awesome holiday oil change special going on right now. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon on
Lawn. That's right. Starting at just $76.99 for up to 5 quarts of full synthetic motor oil with the online coupon. Go visit jiffylube.com right now. Find a location near you and get that $33 off full synthetic oil change coupon now. Most vehicles are covered, especially vehicles and diesel or extra. You got to show the coupon for discount. See the store for details. Happy holidays from Jiffy Lube.
With the cooler seasons upon us, Advanced Infusion Center remains focused on your health and comfort. Whether you're dealing with a chronic illness or in need of IV therapy, we provide tailored treatments to meet your unique needs. Our caring team is here to make sure your experience is safe, comfortable, and stress-free. With convenient locations in Sacramento and Yuba and flexible scheduling, you can easily access the care you deserve. Explore Advanced Infusion Therapy today. Visit advancedinfusion.com for compassionate care right where you need it.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for the wrap up the year sales event?
Well, I can't believe we made this work. I had to double check to make sure it was legit. But right now you can lease a new 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in for as low as $5 a month plus tax for 24 months with $49.95 due at signing.
Oh, sorry, I must have misheard you. Did you say $5 a month?
I know, it's crazy. But for less than the cost of a cup of coffee each month, you can be driving around a brand new Dodge Hornet. But this $5 a month deal can't last long.
Yeah, I can see why. If you want a new car with a monthly payment half the price of a fast food meal, you better hurry to Hoblet Dodge in Woodland. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. Period.
$5 for 24-month lease offer before tax and license. Must be California West Business Center resident. Rebates include $6,500 SFS hybrid electric federal tax credit, subject to change without notice, and $2,500 West BC lease cash. $49.95 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year with 30-cent fee per mile over. Tax and license extra. For this net savings. Sample VIN A13914. See dealer for details.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
It's time now for your 49ers injury report, brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. Deebo Samuels exited early in the third quarter, but was able to return on the next drive. Deebo had a great game, had 7 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown, but it wasn't enough as the 49ers lose in Miami 29-17. San Francisco falls to 6-9 on the year and are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Next up for the Niners, it's Detroit.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
The year-end sell-a-thon is on at Folsom Lake Ford. Get massive last-chance discounts on your favorite new Ford. Zero-down deals and low finance rates on approval of credit. Shop Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
Our thanks again to Frankie Cardelli, our Sacktown Sports Kings insider, for joining us. Any part of the show you've missed, you can always go back to sacktownsports.com, the podcast page. That gets posted. You can listen to it at your convenience, anytime, any day, anywhere that you'd like. Still to come, we got Who's Hot, Who's Not. We'll look back at our 3 in the key for Kings and Lakers and a 3 in the key for Kings and Mavericks tonight. But it is that time. Another week of NFL action is wrapped up. Let's give you a little 4-down territory. Christopher Ladd, let's go with first down.
Which individual will have the best week in the NFL?
All right, I wrote down a lot of candidates today. I don't even know that I could pick one because the week, remember, started with Christmas on Wednesday. We had Thursday Night Football, that awful game with the Seahawks and the Bears. We had Saturday football. We had Sunday football. Well, you got to give a shout out to Saquon for, I think he's the 9th player ever to get to 2,000 rushing yards. He did it in 16 games, so he's got another game to go. How about Harbs? Jim Harbaugh getting another team back into the postseason, the Chargers. You can give a shout out to Bowers of the Raiders for setting the rookie tight end record for most yards. That was pretty great. Baker Mayfield threw 5 touchdowns. Sam Darnold had a good week. I mean, there were so many players that had great weeks and great individual performances. So I just can't go with one. I give you a list. I'm gonna stick with that list today as far as individuals that had the best week in the NFL. All right, how about second down?
Which individual had the worst week in the NFL?
Yeah, a couple of choices there as well. But I'm gonna pick on my guy I've been picking on, and the team I've been picking on a little bit this year. Aaron Rodgers. Woof. See his final stat line for A-Rod. 12 of 18, 112 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 4 times. He left the game. They were being shut out. They got a couple of late scores with Tyrod Taylor. I still can't believe some people thought this team could get to the Super Bowl. Maybe the playoffs, maybe I get that. But the Bills just dismantled them. 40-14 the final. Rodgers had a brutal performance. They've had a brutal year. And, when we were doing, I don't know if it's a fair comp, but I've seen some suggested, I mentioned it before too, when we were kind of tying this all into the Kings. I feel like the Jets are a little bit like the Kings in this sense. The Jets underperformed to their expectations, made a coaching change. They are 4-12. Not a lot's changed. They added a trade and got Devontae Adams, and they've not gotten better. It just I want it to desperately for Doug and for the Kings. I hope it does. A lot of times, I don't know if this is a similar comp, but people thought the Jets could be pretty good. A lot of people thought the Kings could be pretty good. And I just hope the Kings aren't going down that exact same path. All right, third down.
Which team had the best week in the NFL?
Several candidates here, but, I mentioned the Chargers getting in the postseason. Jim Harbaugh doing a really good job. Last night was fun, though, for the Commanders. To win in overtime, to secure a playoff spot. They know they got a young stud quarterback going forward in Jaden Daniels. I felt really good for them. I really did. It's their first 11-win season in 30-plus years. They're going back to the postseason. They haven't been there very much lately. So I think they had a terrific week. Some of the other teams did a good job of securing their spot. The Rams got in. They didn't have a great win on Saturday, but they had a win. And then I would say, the Bengals kept their hopes alive. They had to beat Denver. They found a way to get it done in overtime. So between the Bengals, between the Rams, but I think the top one has to go to the Commanders for that overtime win, coming back from behind and securing a postseason spot. I'll give it to them. All right, fourth down.
Which team had the worst week in the NFL?
Okay, like all the other lists, there's several candidates here. I'm looking at you, Texans, way back on Christmas Day, scoring 2 points at home, getting blown out by the Ravens. Steelers had a pretty tough Christmas performance as well. The Bears losing yet another game, 4-12, brutal performance. But I think, and I mentioned the Jets already, I'm going to go with the Colts. And maybe even the Giants as well, who won the game. Because the Giants were in a better spot to have the worst record, to secure a top spot. Now they've made it very crowded at going for the number 1 overall draft choice. But the Colts had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. So you have to win. You're in New York playing a Giants team that had won 2 games and was winless at home. And you gave up 45 points to one of the worst offenses in the NFL to lose and to be eliminated from postseason play. They had a brutal weekend. Absolutely a brutal one yesterday. The way they got, the way they lost, how the Giants played, couldn't stop the rookie Malik Neighbors, killed them. And so the Giants with the win over the Colts. Give me the Colts as having the worst week in the NFL this week. All right, there you go. There's a look at 4-down territory. It sets us up for a good Week 19. I mean, as I mentioned, some of the playoff pictures starting to take shape. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up at 9. There's one last game to go in the NFL this week. That's Monday Night Football tonight. The Lions in San Francisco against the 49ers. But yeah, I mentioned the Commanders securing their spot. You got the Eagles in there, Vikings, Lions, and Packers already in, and the Rams in. So now it's one spot in the NFC between the Buccaneers and the Falcons. And the AFC, Dolphins kept their playoff hopes alive. Bengals kept their playoff hopes alive. And they could all try to catch the Denver Broncos. But the other teams are in: the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bills. All right, break time for us. When we return, let's ask who's hot and who's not. We'll recap our 3 in the key for the Kings and Lakers and create a new one for tonight with the Kings and the Mavericks. That's all coming your way as we continue right here on Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Get huge year-end savings on the all-new 2025 Silverado now at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on select new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST.
And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing leasing some of the offers.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
What's hot and what's not? Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
All right, before we get to who's hot, Chris, AA Ron in our chat said, I'm like 90% sure I saw Mike Brown at Nordstrom Rack yesterday. Even if it was him, I wasn't sure what I would say. I think it was Mike Brown at Nordstrom Rack yesterday.
You free? Want to go do something?
What do you mean?
That's what I would say to Mike Brown.
Oh, you saw him? You want to hang out? Want to go see the movie you saw?
Nosferatu?
Yeah.
It's Nos, Jason.
Oh, okay. I thought we were being corrected earlier. Yeah, I don't know. Might have been Mike Brown. I'm not sure. When you see someone famous in public, do you go up to them?
Depends on the person.
Can you give me an example of someone you would maybe go up to and someone you wouldn't?
I'm trying to think of someone that
you have to probably be interested in them, like them, or have something you want to talk to them about.
Yeah, if it's like Tim Robinson, like absolutely.
You're definitely going to go up to
Chris
him.
Jericho. He was at the same gym.
Okay.
He was at my gym, and I went up and talked to him.
That's why you lift weights.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. What would you say to Tim Robinson?
I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
Or I'd go up to him if he was like, say he's at Nordstrom. Say he was at Nordstrom.
Nordstrom
Rack. I'd go up to him and I'd say, "Do you have a C shirt?"
That's what you'd say to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to get you there.
Okay. I bet he doesn't get that one a lot.
I think he'd be surprised.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering when someone that has a lot of material out there, what they get the most. But yeah. Okay. Who's hot?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, the QB of the Bills?
Yeah.
Okay.
This season is the 5th time in NFL history where a quarterback had a season with 300 more completions, 400 or more rushing yards, 40 or more total touchdowns, 5 or more rushing touchdowns, and won the division title.
That's impressive.
It's the 5th time it's been done.
Okay.
The other times was in 2020 when Josh Allen did it, 2021 when Josh Allen did it, 2022 when Josh Allen did it, 2023 when Josh Allen did it. Oh, in 2024, Josh Allen did it again.
Is that like Westbrook when he, when people were getting triple doubles and then he does it again? It's like, it's
no big deal.
Really?
My favorite was arguing with someone about it. Well, he almost is averaging a triple double. And I'm like, well, Westbrook is.
Yeah, he did it again for like the 4th straight year. Oh my gosh. We got one here. I see you, Jason Ross, at the games, and I'm too ashamed to introduce myself.
Ashamed?
Why would you be ashamed? Yeah, don't come up to me. No, of course you can. What, you say no?
Depends.
Well, I will say this. Like, the hardest part, this used to happen more at Arco when we were courtside because we were, maybe it was harder for people to get down there, but now we're kind of a little bit behind. There's a little bit of work to get to us, but people would always, and sometimes would be friends, they'd come at halftime. They're like, "Oh, I'm at the game having a good time." I'm like, this is the one time I'm actually talking. I'm like, I'm busy this entire like everybody else is free at halftime but me. And it's like, dang it, it's the right idea, but show up at the at a timeout or something. I get
4th quarter.
Yeah. After the game. Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that. So that's who's hot. Who is not?
Aaron Rodgers. And yesterday's Jets loss to the Bills, 40-14 loss, by the way. He was sacked 4 times. Mm-hmm. With those sacks, Aaron Rodgers became the quarterback with the most sacks in a career.
That's bound to happen, but do you think your signed copy of Heavyweights has lost any value?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you could put that out on eBay for. Like, so it needs an explanation. It's like signed by Aaron Rodgers. People are like, wait, was he in that movie? No.
Great movie, by the way.
Great.
1
to 10, it's a
9.3.
What?
Yeah.
That good?
Yes. Of kids movies, of definitely my era. I put it above Mighty Ducks.
And you love Mighty Ducks.
And I love Mighty Ducks.
Have you talked Heavyweights with Alan Stiles?
I think I might have brought it up, and I don't think he's seen it.
Okay. Great movie is what you're saying.
Written by Judd Apatow.
Okay.
Starring Ben Stiller.
Okay.
Kenan Thompson as a kid.
What? All right. I haven't seen it either. But now I'm getting more and more intrigued.
The director of, the movies that Bridesmaids
yeah.
and the new Ghostbusters, and he did a bunch of The Office. Paul Feig, he plays a camp counselor in it.
Okay.
It's where we got the body from. The Hey Body.
Oh, Hey Body.
That's from Heavyweights.
Okay.
We use the body system.
All right. Well, there's who's hot. And there's who's not. How about we recap our 3 in the key predictions for Kings and Lakers from Saturday. All right, Chris, we made some predictions. One is already off because it was our category, and that would be my fault. We asked for LeBron James scoring versus De'Aaron Fox. As we know, LeBron was ill. He did not play. I predicted 22 for LeBron, 34 for Fox. You predicted 18 for LeBron, 24 for Fox. And LeBron had 0. Fox had 29. So yet again, we were both 5 points off of De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis was making his return to the lineup. We asked his stat line, points, rebounds, assists. I said 16 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. Chris, you said 20, 20, and 7. He had 14, 12, and 7.
I wish it were me. I wish I could just absorb your germs and make my body fight them.
And then that wasn't for LeBron. That was for Sabonis.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we asked for a random stat, something we predicted that would be weird or different. I said, we're going to overtime. We didn't have overtime. And Chris, you had the 2020 game from Domantas Sabonis, which did not happen. So we got a new game, a new night, another opportunity. Let's do it for Kings and Mavericks tonight. All right, we're going to go back to this one. Total points, De'Aaron Fox versus Kyrie Irving. I'm going to say De'Aaron is going to have 28 and Kyrie's going to have 31.
Ooh. I'm going to say Fox is going to have 27 and Kyrie will also have 27.
Okay. We're looking for Kings made 3-pointers tonight. I have 11.
I'm going to say 18.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Coach
Christie
said he wants them shooting more threes.
Okay. Random stat, something you see as different, weird. Wouldn't it be interesting if Doug ever got tossed from a game?
That would be.
For us to see. He did as a player. It happened to him as a player. Random stat for me, I'm going to say... I had one earlier today. It was related to Carter, but Carter's not playing. So I'm going to say this one today. Out of nowhere, Jay Crowder gets playing time.
Okay. I'm going to have something that's even more insane and out of nowhere.
Okay.
Kings will win by double digits.
What?
Yeah.
You okay in there?
I did have that UK Kit Kat, so I don't know.
Yeah. What? Why? What's your?
I said it's from nowhere.
From nowhere.
Maybe.
Just a hunch.
And
double-digit wins are boring.
Mavericks are a little
banged up.
Oh, yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, Luka's out. Najee Marshall is not
Have
playing.
you seen someone put up video of him his rookie season?
Luka?
Yeah. He is I know we make a lot of jokes about it and stuff. He is downright skinny compared to what he is now.
Wait, as a rookie he was skinny?
As a rookie compared to what he is now, he is skinny.
So has he bulked up or he just got heavier?
I think he got heavier.
Okay. Interesting. And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with his injuries or not, but probably doesn't help. Huh. So Chris is predicting a Kings double-digit win. Oh, man, do they need this? They need this big time. I think we all need it. And we talked a lot about it if you missed it earlier. Reaction to the Kings firing of Mike Brown, the handling of it, the mismanagement of it. I still think management, front office, GM, all that stuff should have been in front of a podium and a microphone and answering questions from the media on the dismissal of Mike Brown. Certainly, I hated the way they actually executed it. And then now Doug Christie. And this part I know for certainty, having worked with Doug, knowing him pretty darn well, and rooting for him, liking him, wanting it to work out for him. He wants this opportunity, not in this, he wasn't wishing it happened this way, but he has wanted to be a head coach and a coach in this league for a long time, and really would want, I don't know much more on his list that would be higher than him being successful as a Sacramento Kings coach. And I think he wants it for all the right reasons. It's not even selfish. It's not for him. I could just tell there is an emptiness in him. And a lot of those players from the early 2000s, I've heard Scott Pollard say the same. Certainly Chris Webber has said the same, that they felt that they let this community down. And which it's ironic because that's kind of the best of this franchise has ever been. And that group's been put on a pedestal, maybe at times to the detriment of the fan base and to the organization. But that group feels like they failed this community, which they certainly didn't, but they didn't win a title. They were good enough to, but they didn't. And I know that Doug's desire to have another chance at it, because he can't play anymore, would be as a coach or part of the coaching staff, and now he's the head coach. I could just tell you with 100% certainty how much he wants to be successful at this. Didn't mean Mike Brown didn't want to, or George Karl, or Dave Yeager, or pick your coach before that. They all did. But it's different for Doug because of his connections to this community, his connections with this organization, having played for this organization and having played for this organization at the best this version has ever been. So as much as he wants that, that's almost not irrelevant. That's not the right term, but it doesn't have as much of an impact as the actual guys playing on the floor. And so when things go wrong, yes, coaches get blamed. That's the reality of the situation. Front office members get blamed. Decision makers get blamed. I put the majority of all things, though, on the players themselves. And to me, they're all culpable. They're all responsible, every single aspect of it. But if a player were to say we don't have enough, I put a little bit on the player too. Make it enough. Make it work. Not everybody has all the best setup. It's just not the way it works. Now, maybe you can only reach a certain level, but I think if anybody feels this team is at the right level for their talent, then prove that. I think they've underachieved. Again, how much better should they be? I don't know that I can quantify the numbers, but better than this, there's no doubt in my mind. So to a player, they've got to be better. That's it. That's it. That's it to be better. That is it. And like I said, if you've ever been a part of a team and you strictly blame your coach for your failures, it's on you. Your work, your company, is it all your boss's fault? They can have an impact, but are you doing your job? Are you doing it to your best? Are you helping elevate others? So I think the players need to ask themselves that. Final hour ahead. In the next hour, we will have crosstalk at the end of the show. We'll have celebrity birthdays, what to watch. We'll have a pick six for the 49ers and Lions. We'll look at the Kings week ahead. And when we come back, some more football. Niners at 9, what to expect tonight, and kind of a look back at the weekend that was and the playoffs starting to take shape. That's all straight ahead on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 16. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The year-end sell-a-thon is on at Folsom Lake Ford. Get your favorite new Ford with zero down deals and low finance rates like 0% on many new models on approval of credit. Shop Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, final hour of this Monday, December 30th show. Jason Ross, Chris Verlaut, Carmichael Dave will be back with us next Monday.
Does December 30th feel like a tease
to
New Year's Eve? Like, it feels like this should be the last day for some reason for me. So it feels like, oh, we got another day of this?
Yeah, we do. I know. I think it's odd that we I think a lot. It's an uneven week to have Wednesday be New Year's Day, just on the way the calendar fell. And I think, I don't know, maybe some of you guys can text in at 441140 or on our chat line. Are you guys working the 31st? Are you working the 2nd? We're working today, tomorrow, the 2nd and the 3rd. Now I'll have a Kings game on the 1st. The Kings play on the 1st too. So on what would be a day off, but that's okay. So I signed up for. I'm all right with that. I like it. Like this job, like working, even in these tough times going now where a lot of people they're listening, they're wondering, they're questioning, which is, I'm doing the same. One of our, Tom from Pat and Tom and Cody down the hall, just saw him during the break. He's like, what the heck? What's going on with the Kings? Why'd they fire Mike Brown? I'm like,
then he said, where am I? What is this? What am I doing here?
Where's my car? You found my keys? Oh, speaking of, remember that, Chris? I told you last week I lost my key. Key or I got a new key. Found it.
Where was it?
It had fallen in my car seat, like in like the corner. I looked in there, and then my wife found it later. I go, oh, see, I looked, I just didn't see it. So they deactivated that one though. So I'm back in business with a little lanyard on connected to it, a string to keep me together. Anyway, yeah, it's a serious question. It's a fair question. What are the Kings doing? Well, they did it. That's the reality. We can all disagree or agree. I mean, there's plenty of people that Mike Brown needed to go. Okay, I'm not even here to argue that. Now, I'm just telling you, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it the way they did for sure. And I think that's probably the biggest issue that has happened so far is how they executed it. And to me, just to kind of recap, if you missed it, I know we got different audiences checking in at different times. I wouldn't have done it, but once you've done it, now you try to figure out why they did it. Okay, I think the why was obviously there was some sort of, front office, head coach disagreement, not necessarily one thing, but just maybe not on the exact same page. Maybe some of the players weren't hearing Mike Brown as much. If you kind of look at Mike Brown's track record, looking back at his coaching resume, he's done a lot of winning, but he's kind of been around 2.5 years at every stop, and that's about where we were. So, but if that's the case, why do the extension? If you weren't sure, much like they weren't really sure about Luke Walton, were they going to keep him, were they not? They decided to keep him, and then they fired him during the next season. I felt like this is similar to that, and it's the same front office. So it's a track record that I don't love, that part of it. But now you've done it, and now the reason to do it, too, like I said, sometimes these happen with 10, 15 games to go, and you're just like, let's just see what else we got the rest of the year. That's not why this was done. This was done to try to redirect the season. From all accounts we've heard, the front office thinks they've got enough on the court to be better than they are, and I agree with that to an extent. I still would like to see some of the roster flaws filled, but this is their roster, and I think myself included, if you told me from the beginning of the year, I think we weren't sure who was going to start at the 2, but let's just put in Kevin Huerter. So between Fox, Huerter, DeRozan, Murray, and Sabonis is your starting 5. Or whatever, even the current starting 5 with Monk. But Huerter off the bench then 2. Ellis, Lyles. That eight to me should be better than their record. Even with roster flaws, even with being undersized, even with all of those things that are currently happening to this team right now. Do you not think their record should be better than 13-19 with the roster flaws? With being 3-11 in games decided by 5 points or less, with having a plus differential in points. I mean, that's usually an indicator of how you are as a team. They are, let me see if there's anybody in the league. Let me do this really fast. Boom, boom, boom. Nope. They are the only team in the league with a losing record that has a plus differential in scoring, and the Kings haven't had a lot of blowout wins. So they have close losses with this roster that has some flaws. They should be better than 13-19. Now, is Mike Brown part of it? Absolutely. Was he the reason? No, not entirely. I had some questions. I had some issues. I sometimes question his uses of timeouts. When he used them, I thought he used them sometimes too much to not have challenges or timeouts late in games. Certainly some of the rotations I questioned. But even inside all of that, I would say collectively to a player, how many players are underperforming their career numbers? Certainly shooting-wise, almost everyone. So as a collective, they have to be better. I think they can be. I don't know that making a coaching change will do it per se. I think Doug will have his voice heard and try to implement some things over time, but they haven't even had a practice. And they're going to play tonight, play Wednesday, play Friday, play Sunday, play Monday. I mean, the next time where they actually have a break is about a week from tomorrow, where they have a couple days off before they go to a road trip that has, I believe, Boston, Milwaukee, and Chicago. Woof. All right, let's see what you have to say. Kevin, good morning. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you. What's on your mind?
Just, what I want to talk about a little bit is I think for now the Kings are for the, Doug in the realm. They just need to do better with shooting, right? I mean, yeah, defense, it is what it is. They can only do so much, with their personnel. They just need to understand what they need to do to shoot better, right? Because you look at it this whole year, their shooting just been subpar, right? Everybody's down. Don't know what it is, their mechanics or whatever it is. They just have some way, some form to get better with their shooting. Once they're shooting, it alleviates a lot of pressure, with their defense, with everything else, right? Don't know what they need to do, but they just need to get better with their shooting. So
thank you, Kevin. I mean, and that's the one that, like, I don't look at this as structurally something's wrong with their shooting, form-wise. Can you take better shots? Sure, sometimes. I don't, honestly, I've watched every minute of every game. I don't feel like the issue is that they take a lot of bad shots. They'll take some. I mean, everybody does every time, every game. That's you can't escape that. There's no perfect, hey, they took all the right shots at all the right time. That just doesn't happen. But I don't look at that and go, that's the issue as far as poor shot selection. We could argue, and this is a fair criticism, do they shoot too many threes? That's fair. That's fair to ask and question. I know it's kind of a team philosophy. I brought that up last season. I said, man, they want to shoot more threes. I don't think they're great at it. And they were better last year than they are this year. I get it. That's part of the game now. You got to spread the floor. You got to create spacing, and you got to knock down timely and open threes in a way that isn't crushing your overall offensive flow. So Keegan's got to be better beyond the arc. I mean, Fox has been up and down. Like last game, he was brutal again. Sabonis, I feel like his percentage has been probably better than expected. DeRozan has taken a few more than I thought, but doesn't really take that many. Ellis, I think, has been pretty efficient. Too many guys. McDermott, Lyles, Monk, Crowder when he played. Like, just nobody has been consistent enough where you really trust them shooting beyond the arc. And so I would say, look, I wouldn't rely on it. It needs to be a weapon. It's too important of a weapon in the game right now, but you could just never rely on it being your number one weapon. I think earlier on in the season when they were not shooting the ball very well, they got to the line more. I think that's a good recipe for this team, and they made them. I still think they can do a lot of work in the paint, De'Aaron specifically. So can Sabonis. DeRozan gets to his spots as well as anybody. And I just think right now they've kind of lost their way. And losing does that. Coaching changes can do that. But kind of to a person, you can't force anything. And these are all suggestions here, but you need to play with a sense of desperation, but not be desperate, if that makes sense. There's a fine line. There's nuance there. You can't panic, but you got to act like it's a must win. You've got to play together, not be selfish, but also at times like, okay, what's the extra thing I can do? I mean, these are all little things, but sometimes it's the little things that's keeping them from winning. And that, again, is kind of the puzzle that's been the hardest part for this, because your record is who you are. Like, that is the net result. Like, if they had been playing terribly, but somehow were 19-13, I don't think we would care. I don't think they've been playing terribly, but they're 13-19. Like, if I look at other comp teams, like, let's see, Philadelphia is 12-17. Their reason for being 12-17 is I can't remember how many games they've had Embiid, George, and Maxey together, but it's not many. Teams worse than the Kings, Utah, New Orleans is worse. I think New Orleans has a good roster. They're just all hurt, and they've been hurt, and they're 5-27. So the Kings aren't that, but that doesn't matter. They're in this no man's land right now where they're not the worst team in the league. They're probably closer to being a top 10 team in the West than being where they are as far as a bottom team. I know they're technically only a game and a half behind Portland, but I feel like they're a better team than Portland. They're not showing it enough, not consistently enough, and that's why I go back to they are the only team under 500 that is a plus point differential. They're plus 0.8, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that is the best for any team that has a losing record by a lot. And actually, the Lakers are the Lakers and the Hawks are the only teams with winning records that have a negative differential. And that's your, more points scored than you've given up. And that's this team that still has roster flaws, still makes their mistakes, still not shooting the ball well. They just can't seem to figure this out, and that's what's going on in this stretch of 6 consecutive losses and now a coaching move. Tonight, they get Dallas. We're going to talk about the Kings week ahead and some more on the NFL from the Niners game tonight in the playoff picture. All that as we continue on Sacktown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco. Bob Ball throws one up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at the AEway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
All right, we roll along here on New Year's Eve. Do you ever do the Eve twice? I don't like that.
Because when does it end?
Yeah, because then yesterday was New Year's Eve. Are you a New Year's resolution person?
No.
Yeah. I don't know. And I've always laughed at that. Like, if someone has and a lot of times it ends up being, health, or I'm going to go to the gym starting January 1st. Why don't you go December 12th? I mean, you can get started early, or whenever it is if that's your commitment. But look, I don't want to diminish anybody if their goals, if that's when they start. But I do know this is a time that, much like you, Chris, you keep bringing in candy in here in every break. This is from Dave, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to be doing that fast coming up, so we gotta get rid of it.
You gotta start so that we can cleanse later. Yeah, that's right. Dave's back next week. Are we doing it as soon as next week?
I think so.
I hope so. Bone broth right in here. No, water. And a little alcohol. Good morning.
Rubbing alcohol.
Yes, just straight gas. Brr. Actually, my sister-in-law brought up something you probably would have liked, Chris. I don't know, it was something during the holiday here. And I'm like, what is that? It was some sort of, honestly, I've never had gasoline, but I'm like, that was my joke. I'm like, what is that, gasoline? Oh, it was so strong.
Why would I like it?
Well, because you like more alcohol than I do. No? Facts? I don't really
Well, if you're saying it smells like alcohol, why would I like it?
It smells like gas. No, it didn't smell like gasoline. It's just as soon as I drank it, I'm like, oh, it was just too strong for me.
Oh, what was it?
I'm going to ask because I don't even know. I don't even know what that drink was. But I'm a lightweight. Yeah, that's what I get for not
Low
drinking
carb
too much.
strawberry beer.
It was a fruity-esque thing.
Was
but
it a hurricane?
What's that?
It's like a frozen drink, but it
Oh,
uses
no.
like
Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, it wasn't that. I'll get the report. I'll get the answer to what that was because it was too much for me. It's too much for me. We were talking about a little bit about the NFL. We'll jump back into the Kings here in a moment. The Kings week ahead. Do want to reiterate tonight, you got the 49ers and the Lions, and a game that had early on in the season huge ramifications, a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Niners have since long been eliminated from the postseason. The Lions, this game is a little bit weird for Detroit. I wonder what their approach will be. They don't have to win. Now, they want to win, but a win gets them to 14-2. A loss, it's 13-3, and it still will come down to their game next week against the Vikings, who have now won 9 in a row. Minnesota's 14-2. What a story. So Eagles are in, Commanders are in, Vikings, Lions, and Packers are in, Rams are in. So all that's left in the NFC is who is going to win the NFC South. Tampa Bay is 9-7. Atlanta is 8-8. So those are your teams that are in. Some regulars that usually we see in the postseason. Cowboys, they're out. The Niners, they're out. Seattle makes it every once in a while. They're not in. AFC, Bills are in. Ravens and Steelers are in. The South was won by the Texans. The Chiefs are in. The Chargers are in. The Broncos are in the best position. They dictate their own terms, even losing their last two. They're 9-7. They've got a lead on the 8-8 Bengals and the 8-8 Dolphins. And if we look at the last week of action, next week, week 18, the Bengals can stay alive with a win on Saturday night. They play the Steelers. As far as the other games of impact on Sunday, you've got the Dolphins at the Jets, so they need to win that game. And the Broncos will host the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs, we brought them up last week. They're 15-1. They do not have to play a single player that is of meaning to them because they're going to be the 1 seed no matter what. Home field's going to go through them, through the AFC. And if they elect not to play anybody before their next game, it will be 25 days between their meaningful games, what they played on Christmas until their first playoff game in round 2, the divisional round. So we'll see what they elect to do. All right, back to the Kings and the NBA. The Kings this week ahead, it's another busy stretch. And when you're wounded and you're desperate for a win, you'll take it any way you can get it. Dallas a bit undermanned tonight. They will not have Luka Doncic. They will not have Najee Marshall. Luka's going to be out for a significant amount of time, they said. We don't know what that means, but he is out this week ahead for the Kings. They've got Dallas tonight. Wednesday, they get Philadelphia to kick off 2025. Friday, they get Memphis. Sunday, to wrap up the week, or to start the new week, depending on how you look at it, they're at the Warriors, and then the very next day, second night of a back-to-back at home for Miami, and that's when they finally get some time off. Tuesday, Wednesday, sure Thursday, they'll travel to Boston, and that road trip coming up is Boston, Chicago, Milwaukee. Even after that, Houston, you got the Warriors, you got Denver, you got New York. I mean, look, they've dug this hole themselves. It's going to be more difficult to get out of it. And I would say, as far as the overall big picture of the season, this team has done a lot of damage with this losing streak here. Remember when they were 13-13 and kind of got right back in the mix? Well, losing 6 in a row has dropped them to 12th. They are just a game and a half ahead of Portland for 13th. They are 2.5 back of Phoenix, but Phoenix is 11th, and 3 back of San Antonio. Now, the question I would ask for those of you out there that, do you believe in – I don't believe in a lot of those teams that are near the bottom. I think Phoenix, when right, could be as good as anybody in the West, but they haven't had those guys that much. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 15-16 while Booker's been out. The Spurs, it's Wembanyama and kind of the rest of the group that has fought to 500. Warriors got a much needed win the other day against Phoenix. Otherwise, man, they were free falling. And so can you get into that group? But that's just the bottom part of the plan. I mean, this Kings team, I don't even think it should worry about the standings right now. They just need to worry about themselves and finding a win, to stop the bleeding, to see the beam, to have a feel good, to have a moment where you restore your own personal confidence. And then you just try to add and stack. And, maybe if it's one win and then you lose, well, then can you win 2 of 3, 4 of 6? I mean, they're going to have to start producing chunks of games. And Mike Brown did this, and I'm sure Doug Christie will. He used to do this too. Look at it in 5-game increments. Well, you have 50 games left. You have 10 5-game increments left in your season. For the most part, those need to be 3-2 or better, all 10 of those, if you really try to do something to where you're making some noise. Well, when you've just lost 6 in a row, after the winning streak before that, and you had a stretch, I want to say before that, where they'd lost something like 6 of 8. So, I mean, they've had 2 brutal stretches of basketball this year that have really hurt them. And I'll stand by, I believe this team is better than this, but it's only them that can prove it. And tonight is an opportunity to do it when Dallas doesn't have their most impactful player. Now, what happens when you don't have a guy like Luka? I think we saw that a little bit the other night when the Lakers didn't have LeBron. They're better with LeBron, but I felt like there was less watching for the Lakers. Like, they went out and played. Like, Reeves, I thought, attacked the game. AD was himself. They had a lot of guys that, Max Christie filled his role. There wasn't a lot of standing and watching, LeBron's going to save the day, or LeBron will do something that'll bail us out here. So I would expect that tonight, too, from Dallas, who has already played a game without Luka. They lost to Portland, so, they're not going to be too happy with that. Kyrie went off, but they're going to need more from, Gafford and Lively and Maxi Kleba and Klay Thompson. And let's think about that, too. Klay Thompson's last game in this building, woof. When the Kings eliminated them in the play-in game, the first of the play-in games, Klay had a brutal day. So he's shot well in this building before. He's tormented the Kings before, and we know he can do that again. So Dallas has earned that 20-12 record with and without Luka. Kings have earned their 13-19 record and this 6-game losing streak. So, it's on Fox and DeRozan and Sabonis and Keegan and the whole crew. Monk, just to be much better version of themselves. All right, break time for us. When we come back, we will do a pick 6 for the 49ers and Lions. We will tell you some of the events to watch tonight. All that and more as we continue right here on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
At Elk Grove Honda, our recipe for happy holidays is to think happy Honda days. Let's explain. Happy is a good thing. We all like happy. Honda stands for quality, reliability, comfort, design, peace of mind, value at resale, and a lot more feel-good words. Days is how long you have left to take advantage of Elk Grove Honda's year-end clearance underway right now. Elk Grove Honda is located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard, or visit us at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Welcome back to another exciting game day. Grab your rally towels, throw on your jerseys, cheer, shout, and save on your gas. That's right. Sports fans win big on home game days. Score instant savings of 25 cents per gallon on Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline with the Fuel Rewards program. And that's a victory for you and your tailgate team. Download the app, join the Fuel Rewards program today, and game on. Restrictions apply. Limited time. At participating Shell stations. For more details, visit fuelrewards.com.
There's a reason why more and more people are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. And it's not just because they're centrally located next to Hagan Oaks Golf Course. It's because they make the car buying experience different than anywhere else. Yeah, of course they can get you a great price. That's the easy part. Where their general manager, Chuck Dean, and his team really make a difference is they don't believe you should have to sacrifice great customer service to get a great deal. Stomp on in today and see for yourself. That's Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's the place where a handshake still means something.
The good news, you finally lost the excess weight and found the body you knew was hiding underneath it all along. The better news, InShape Fitness is here to help you maintain your new look And dare we say it, enjoy the process. InShape has everything you need to build muscle and help keep the weight off. From fitness classes and personal trainers to swimming pools and saunas. Plus, plenty of full-length mirrors to admire your new self along the way. We are InShape. You are ready. Join online today at InShape.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and vocal.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, coming up in our next segment, we'll have a little crosstalk. We'll have celebrity birthdays. We got our pick six for the 49ers Lions coming up and what to watch. Clean up a few things. Let's see. Text line. This team is horrible. Say it like it is. This needs to be a complete blow up from the top down. I don't agree with that as far as really all of that. I don't think they're a horrible team. I don't think it needs a complete tear up, but I was also here on Friday saying I wouldn't have dismissed Mike Brown. So I'm not the decision maker. If that's a decision they make, I would be shocked about blowing it up. I believe the reason you made this coaching move for a couple of reasons is to think you could still save the season and get it to the direction that they had hoped for before the season. But that, more and more stuff will come out as time goes on, as people do their digging and as more and more people talk. In fact, we got a clip here. This is from the Run It Back podcast, Chris. And this was Lou Williams, former NBA player, is now doing some media stuff as well. He was asked about the Kings situation, and here were some of his thoughts.
From what I understand, it just ran its course very fast and surprisingly. This was a team who we all had and still have high hopes for, and they fell short of those expectations under his leadership. And that happens, and that's no slight to his pedigree as a coach. Players get traded for a lack of a fit. Coaches aren't immune to that, So I'm hearing there was just some pushback from how De'Aaron Fox was continuously being singled out, whether it was publicly or behind the scenes, or the players just didn't agree with that sentiment, or I was even hearing whispers that there was a situation where he might have asked, or suggested that even DeMar DeRozan come off the bench, and those things proved to be severe missteps in an already challenging season, where it put the front office in a position where they had to side with either the all-star talent they had or to part ways with their former coach of the year, who had a brand new 3-year extension. And ultimately they chose to go with the players. And that made Mike Brown a casualty of that. Could they have handled it differently the way that he was fired? That's not my call to make. A lot of coaches and a lot of different people are coming out in support of how it was handled. But this was just a classic example of, a coach losing the locker room and not being on the same page with his players. And, at the end of the day, the players were, who management chose to side with.
All right. That was from Lou Williams from the Run It Back podcast. Well, just moments ago, Chris? De'Aaron Fox screen grabbed that and has the video that we just played, or the audio that you heard, but the video of it. And De'Aaron quoted on it saying, quote, there was never any pushback about anything. This narrative of us butting heads or me going to management saying anything is BS. So you can run with that if you want to. That's coming from De'Aaron Fox. So, okay, again, like I said, more and more stuff will come out if it needs to come out. The reality is the move was made. It has made. Again, agree, disagree, like it, don't like it, think it's the worst thing, think it's the best thing. It's been done. It's happened. I shared my opinion on it, shared my thoughts, and now they have to go forward. They got a game tonight. They got a new coach guiding the team right now. And all these players, I think, again, my overall view of it, if I'm anybody on the coaching staff, in the front office, or a player, I'd probably be a bit on edge because the team has underperformed and there are expectations for this team. So this move has shown that they're willing to make changes. whether you like it or not, and whether it was the best intentions or not, then everybody should feel a little bit not uneasy, but they're being evaluated constantly. And really, the reality of the profession is you always are. But look, in anything, when nothing does happen or you're here for year after year after year, you get comfortable. And so this group is probably a bit uncomfortable. I'm not even sure if that's a bad thing for them, but they got to start producing results or there will be drastic changes like the one I said right off the top where someone was suggesting blow it up from the top down. Again, I wouldn't do that, but could that be something they do? Sure, absolutely. But I don't think they're to that position yet. I think they're going to try to continue to evaluate, see what else they can still muster up from this year. And, a win would change things, but, you keep losing, and that has changed things. We've already seen the one significant change. What to watch for tonight? Obviously, Mavericks and Kings tonight. If you're going to the game, watching the game, or listening to it right here on Sacktown Sports. Some other games of note in the NBA, Clippers at Pelicans. That will do some scoreboard watching there. The Nuggets at the Jazz. The Cavaliers, they're in San Francisco, taking on the Warriors. So remember the last time they played, I think the Cavs had something like a 40-point first half lead on the Warriors in Cleveland. And then, of course, you got Monday Night Football. The Lions and the 49ers coming up a little bit later today. And with that said, let's go ahead and do a pick six for the Lions and the 49ers. Some predictions before the game even happens. Christopher Laud, me and you on this one. We're going to go with the first 49er to score, and I'm going to say Guerrero.
I am going to say Kittle.
Next up, we're going for Purdy passing yards. Purdy yards. I'm going to say 242.
I will go with 237.
Okay. Back to the running game. Guerrero rushing yards. I'm going to give him 66.
52.
52 for Guerrero. Next prediction. Total turnovers in the game between the two teams. I'm going to have 3.
2.
Is that your number?
Yeah, but I'll take
2. Field goals made combined between the two teams. I also am going to say 3.
4.
4. And then the last one, a random stat. Something different, something odd, something weird. I'm going to do one. Goff will have an 80-yard touchdown pass or longer.
Oh.
How about you?
I am going to say there will be a defensive touchdown.
Defensive touchdown. There you go. There's our pick six. We'll recap that tomorrow. So, Chris, I've talked a lot about this. I don't know. You've followed this team, seen this team a long time. What are your thoughts on this whole mess over the last couple of days?
Obviously, with everyone, I think the way they did it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
you had just a bad look.
You had half a day to figure out what you're going to do, and you picked the absolute worst one. I guess the worst one would be
he made it
Coach
to LA
Brown
already?
in LA,
Yeah.
and then they let him go.
Yeah. That would have been about the only way. I mean, look, there's no good way to fire him, but that was a bad way.
You don't have him lead practice,
No.
and you don't have him talk to the media, and you don't let him get into his car, and you don't tell him on the phone.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that's like one of the, just like in a vacuum, telling him on the phone that like, hey, don't worry about coming back.
Yeah, and we know the way things work. Word spreads so fast, but like I know Malik was asked, he's like Twitter.
Yeah,
and it's like, man. Again, I'm trying to put myself in the shoe. Like if the decision was made, I think the way to have done that would have been before Friday's shoot around or practice was have management down there and not Mike Brown. Maybe you've said we've talked to Mike, we've made our decision, we're parting ways. This is what's happening. I mean, there's a shock, but you've told the team first, and you've told Mike Brown, and then say this is where we're going. We're gonna have Doug Christie guide the team, and let's go.
All of the people that were answering the questions, like, I just found out about this.
Yeah,
like why are they the ones that are
right? And it goes back to my thought of like, again, I think the Vivek and or Monty, Wes, whoever, someone should have been in front of the media answering these questions.
Because then, like, if we get this idea of like, hey, we weren't agreeing on this, we weren't agreeing on that, it's just like, okay, like maybe I don't agree with it, but I could see what they're doing.
Yeah.
With the way they did it, everyone is just coming to their own conclusions.
Right. And that's
Fox and Brown didn't like each other,
Yeah.
so they chose Fox instead of Brown.
Or like this, DeRozan was suggested to go to the bench. He didn't want to do that. And like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but we don't know. All this stuff keeps coming out now. And so I think, and I think skilled people at, navigating the media can also answer questions without answering. And it's like, yeah, they're there. They're not going to tell you, well, this is exactly what happened. It's just, it could be we decided to go in a different
You can
direction.
put things to rest.
Right.
You cannot answer them, but you're like, no, that's not what happened at all.
Yeah. This is what we thought we achieved here. This is the decision we made. We're going in a different direction. We'd like to thank Mike, because it also just feels like, well, there's no thank you to Mike.
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, see ya, you're gone. He was a good coach. He was a likable guy. He really was good in the community. He was around. He was someone that deserved better than that, to me. And that's the part that gets us back to feeling like Kangs. And I hate that thing, and I hate it, but
because a lot of it is we're around the team 24/7, obviously, but it's for the people on the outside, like, here they go again.
Yeah.
Same old Kings. And it's like
Kings.
And at this point, it's like, yeah, you're right.
Well, and I would say it didn't feel like that, but then this takes you right back there. And until I don't know how they changed that narrative, and I felt like they were doing it. But the second you have a misstep again, you're like, oh, Kangs. And it's like, yeah, because that was bad. Again, you could have fired him. You could have elected to do what they did. It's just, one, the way they did it. Timing was weird. All of it's weird. And then I know you and I are in the same spot. Like, personally, I'm such a fan and friend of, like, I'm just rooting for Doug for the world for this.
I think also what kind of hurts us is that we know that Doug is being put in an unfair spot, and then it's going to be put on him.
Right.
Which, are they going to do the same thing to Doug?
Right.
Just like, oh, he's driving somewhere. All right, see you later.
Yeah. And, guys, sometimes people take jobs that you can't be successful. I'm not sure that's the case here, but I want him to be. And he's put in a very difficult position to try to fix the mess that they're in, which is too bad. But that's the job he has, and I know he's up for it, and he'll get his home opener tonight. All right, break time for us. We have Crosstalk coming up next, and celebrity birthdays. That's all straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey there, Jason Ross here to tell you about SacLegalDefense.com and the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez. 916-304-9187 is the number you need. And maybe something from your past is still following you, something you'd like to get clear from that you just can't shake. Well, he's got expungements. He's been offering expungements, had a deal through Christmas, but still, now just think about what it will do for you and how it can help you going forward, whether you need criminal defense, sexual harassment, wrongful termination case, whatever the case may be, auto accident. A lot of times you need representation. You don't know where to go. Well, how about someone that's local, someone that's been successful, and someone that wants to help out people of our community? And that is Jonathan Gonzalez and the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez right here in downtown Sacramento. Again, go to SacLegalDefense.com to find out more, or call them at 916-304-9187.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, down in the rinse change.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
It's the final days of the holiday everyone loves, Toyotathon at your Toyota dealer. Celebrate in style with offers like $2,000 cash back on the powerful Tundra. Or get a low-cost lease on the legendary Tacoma after an incredible $1,000 lease cash. Drive into the new year with a new truck from Toyota. These are the deals you've been waiting for. But hurry, Toyotathon ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Ends 1/6/25.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but I saw a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Californians are beating big tobacco. You can too. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler and Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the wrap-up the year sales events?
We're giving you a head start on next year with up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, starting as low as $36,325.
Wow, you guys are always looking forward.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under $20,000.
Now more than ever, Hoblet needs to be your first stop when you need a new or used car. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
16,000 total net savings on select new Ram 1500 models after 10,500 factory rebates and 5,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 1,500 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital qualify. 500 business upfit, business ownership, and 500 upfit required. And 2,000 Ford Conquest cash. Must own or lease a Ford. No trade-in required. 10th is net savings. 36,325 sample VIN 544-890. See dealer for details.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
And now,
here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. Alan Stiles in the building.
Let's go. Let's go.
Happy New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm ready to go.
Got anything to talk about today?
I'm afraid I'm taking tomorrow off, New Year's Eve, and I'm very afraid to do so because the last time, and I know it's Dave's whole thing, whenever he takes off, something big happens. Well, Dave, when you take off 2 months, yeah, something's going to happen. Yeah. But I'm just trying to golf on Friday. Yeah. I already felt guilty because of that was the day after the crazy Pistons loss. So I already felt bad, and Brendan was doing a great job. Mm-hmm. And so I called into the show. I'm on the 11th hole, and I'm zooming through it. I skipped a hole. I got to be honest. I skipped a hole. So I skipped the hole, call into the show.
I'm always going to golf when I skip the holes.
That's right. I call into the show. We have a conversation. I say, whatever I got to say about De'Aaron, that crazy press conference, kind of also what Mike Brown had to say. Then by the time I'm done golfing, I'm grabbing some food, and Mike's done.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I spent all of Friday, because there were plenty of people like something's got to change, got to fire Mike. That was probably the most common one. I'm like, I wouldn't do it. I don't think they will. This isn't the time. I mean, you look at everything. I'm not saying like he's, can't be fired.
Yeah.
And then like 3 hours later, I'm like, well, there goes everything I just said. But
yeah, they're eating the money. I thought the only thing, and obviously I'll get into this, we got 4 hours, no guests besides you, 916-339-1140. The main thing that surprised me, I truly thought that they would at least make a move and see if things could improve. Yeah. But I think I think what's interesting is the timing was a bit off to where, well, we don't know when we're going to be able to make a move, and we can't just keep living like this, which is what I would agree with. But then for the Lakers to get Dorian Finney-Smith the same weekend, that made me think, so y'all couldn't figure out a deal and at least see if Mike, because you're losing this money because you've paid Mike, and that's what De'Aaron said, at least he's getting paid. So you're not able to make a move and at least see. You're just going to eat that money. And the other thing is, and I'll throw it back to you, as far as the Doug Christie situation is, how do we know? The only way we know that Doug Christie is actually a better fit than Mike Brown is if they don't make a move and they start winning.
Right.
Because if they do make a move, I'm not going to sit there and say that Mike wouldn't have figured. If they go get Cam Johnson, we're just going to say that Doug Christie's doing a better, and they start winning, that Doug Christie's doing a better job than Mike.
He has a different roster.
Right. So I don't know how Doug Christie's going to be evaluated if they do make a move. I guess they don't care about what it looks like or what it would have looked like with Mike. It's just moving forward. But outside looking in, and this happens all the time with these football coaches where they don't have a quarterback, they get fired, they draft a quarterback, and now the next coach is good now.
Yeah, it looks much better.
Yeah, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, on the Finney Smith one, because a lot of people talked about that today too, or a question, and my guess is Brooklyn was looking for that expiring deal, and that's what they got in Russell, and the Kings really expiring. The highest one is Lyles.
Yeah.
And it just maybe it was like, and Memphis reportedly was very close to a deal too, so just maybe the Kings didn't have what was it, 3 second-round picks and Russell, so they got future picks and an expiring. Like, that's what we're looking for. I think maybe the Kings didn't have what they wanted.
Right. I think the funny thing is, the Kings might have to overpay whatever it is. Why wouldn't they have to overpay when it's February and there's more teams involved?
Right.
Either way, you're probably going to have to overpay.
Yeah.
So you got to do something. That Laker game, I was out at Tom's watch bar for our watch party. It was great stuff. Talked to a lot of listeners who came through and just said what's up. So shout out to you guys if you got to kick it with me. But I will say this, that Laker game was terrible. I mean, just terrible. Just laying egg after egg after egg, Jason.
Yeah. And it's like the response when, I think it was, I know everybody's dissecting everything everybody's saying, but I want to say it was the shoot around that morning where someone asked like Fox, like any guilt. It's like guilt.
Yeah.
I would like, you're kind of putting on us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, any guilt, like the coach is let go because of your team's performance.
Yes.
You are a part of that.
I think that was what led to the he's still getting paid, right?
Right. Yeah. It was kind of he is. And I mean, that's fine.
Right.
But like, this is on your record too, De'Aaron, and DeRozan and Sabonis and Herter, and go down the line. It's all of them.
Yeah, and De'Aaron, I know you played the Lou Will sound, but now he responded back and said there was,
that's not it.
That's not it. But yeah, when he, because you saw De'Aaron had responded to me on social media. Did you see that? So he is
on alert.
Very active right now. We would love to see this just in press conferences, but we'll take it on Twitter too.
Yeah, but that's where I go back to all of this. I mean, I don't know that it's solved in the answer, but Vivek and or Monty should have been that announcement should have come from them.
Yes,
and it has in the past. Not with this group though.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Well, I know it's going to fill your 4 hours, and then,
it will fulfill us.
You get and you get the next day off, right?
That's right. But now I'm thinking, oh man, I don't know. I'm scared.
Nah, take your time. Take your time. It'll always be here.
Yeah, that's true.
You ready for some celebrity birthdays?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. It is that time. As birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than crumble cookies. All right. I think you guys will get this one. I'm pretty confident right off the top on this December 30th. Happy birthday to the NBA's all-time leading scorer. He was ill the other day against the Kings. LeBronathan James.
James. Where's the sounder, Chris? I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh, you're going with 40? Okay.
He's 40.
Wow, you both are saying, yeah, he's 40. Good job. We have a correct answer.
Oh, we didn't get Alan's answer to heavyweights.
Oh, yes. Have you seen the movie Heavyweights?
With Ben Stiller?
Yeah.
Yay, nay, 1 out of 10.
Oh, it's hilarious. The go-kart race at the end.
Okay.
It's great stuff. Why?
Well, Chris has one of those unique treasures. He has an autographed DVD.
Yes.
Autographed DVD copy of it, signed by Aaron Rodgers, who's not in the movie.
Okay, I did hear about this before.
Because I asked if the value of that has gone down based on Rodgers' play. He said yes. then we start talking about
But
heavyweights.
not on the movie Heavyweights.
Yeah, and then he said the movie is great. I go, wait, that's a 90s movie. Does Alan like this? And then
Oh yeah, yes. I love Heavyweights when he's walking on the glass.
we need you two guys to watch like a 90s
Walking on the glass.
Yeah, wasn't he walking on glass at one point?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Tiger Woods, happy birthday today. Titans of the sports industry right here.
Yeah.
LeBron and Tiger.
I'm going to say, jeez, is he 47? That's probably a little old, but I'll say 47.
He's 50.
Chris is closer, 49 for Tiger Woods. Happy birthday to Layla Ali.
I was doing a punch if you're driving.
From the American Gladiators.
Yeah. This one I have truly no clue. I'm going to say she's 45.
She is 43.
Alan's closer, 47. Happy birthday to Carson Wentz.
Now here's a guy.
No.
Yeah, no. I was it Dearon? I think it was Dearon Sproles. He was on one of those player pods saying how he got into it with Carson Wentz because he would only throw to his tight end. Remember, that was prime Zach Ertz. What's going on?
Chris said, look at line one calling in. The name reads LeBron James. Do we take it?
Why not?
Sure.
LeBron, welcome to the show. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Random horse here. How's it going?
How is this really you, LeBron?
No, this is Random Horse.
Oh, he changed his caller ID.
Yeah, I had a nice little Christmas.
So while you're gone, Jason, we saw on the phone line Random Horse. So Dave just picked it up, much like you did, and said, "Who is this?"
And they said Random Horse.
And he said that the only way that he could change the ID, because Dave was asking how to do it, he said he only does it when he gets drunk and he doesn't know how he does it.
Okay. So you had a good couple of days and now you're LeBron James, Random Horse?
I'm back to LeBron James, yep. And thank you for the birthday wishes. I kind of needed it today.
Yeah, I know. I could tell, LeBron. And happy birthday. Thanks for not playing the other day, even though you didn't help. That is bizarre.
I don't know what just happened.
I'm not sure I know either.
Because a lot of times I don't know if there's a joke that I missed earlier in the show. And
that one.
Because you were gone for that one.
Random Horse. I kind of like Random Horse, though. Do we answer Carson Wentz?
No.
36.
Nah, I think he's probably younger than that. He's just washed. 34.
He's 32.
Ooh.
Kenyon Martin.
Now there's a guy.
Here's a guy.
Yeah.
Senior or junior?
Yep. No, Kenyon Martin Sr.
Kenyon Martin Sr.
Former number 1 pick overall.
46.
47.
We have a correct answer. Christopher Laud, 47. You were right there.
He used my
You're
number.
thinking yesterday. I was going to go with 47 the entire time.
No, he used my number.
Kerry Collins, former NFL quarterback.
Not a clue.
54.
52.
We have a correct answer. Alan Stiles.
I used
my number.
I did use your number.
Happy birthday to Dodger legend Sandy Koufax. Here's a guy.
Now here's a guy that can throw a ball. Lefty.
But Alan can hit him because he's the hit doctor.
That's right. Hey, if you need hits,
yes,
I'm your doctor.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know though, but I'm probably going to embarrass myself here, but this is a safe space. Is he 85? Is that too old? 85?
78.
Alan's closer. 89.
Wow.
For Sandy Koufax. All right, how about one more here? Who do we want to go for? Nah, we'll end there.
That good, huh?
Yeah.
No movies came out this day?
No, not really. Nothing good. They're always before Christmas.
That's right.
Well, that's it. Our thanks to Frankie Cardelli and special guest LeBron James for checking in. For Christopher Lott and Jason Ross. Alan Stiles has a action-packed 4-hour show coming up, right?
That's right.
It's stacked. Yeah.
I want to break the phone lines. Call in.
Even LeBron, you can call in again.
No.
No, not Random Horse. Or change your name to something else. All right, that's it. Alan Stiles is next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite teams